Always good to be back home. Welcome, everybody, to 20th and Blake. The Rockies will be at home over the next 10 days, in fact. A 9-game homestand, and it opens tonight against the New York Mets. Lone time, the Mets will be out west to take on the Rockies. Rockies took the season series a year ago, 5-2. Hi once again, everybody, with George Frazier. I'm Drew Goodman. So how are these Mets doing? They were in the headlines for all the wrong reasons in the offseason. Financial issues with their ownership. They've kind of gotten that straightened out, and they've surprised a lot of people in the NL East. They're 11-8 in the early going.
11-8. I think the biggest thing for them is 6 come from behind wins. That's something they couldn't do a year ago. A lot of late wins in the games. They just swept the Marlins yesterday. They extended Heath Bell 46 pitches in the 9th. Come out of there with a win. Nobody expects that out of this. A lot of unknowns. They started 9 guys raised in their organization. That's huge when you can be able to do that.
The last time they did that, it was 1971. More on that a little bit later on in the broadcast. Well, there's one name everybody knows when it comes to the Mets. Jose Reyes is playing for the Marlins. David Wright is their centerpiece, and he is off to a tremendous start.
How about his road numbers? We just saw those as he was warming up. The big thing that jumps out to me, look at these names on here: Drew Strawberry, Piazza, Howard Johnson, Ed Kranepool, played there forever. David Wright, most all-time RBIs with an organization. There's only one other active player like that, and that's Todd Helton. But to think of what he's done for this organization, people forget he swing the bat, but he can also catch it.
He can catch it, and he's not yet 30. How about this kid? A lot of people never heard of him before. Kirk Neuenhuis. He has had a big impact on the 11 wins so far for the Mets. He had the game-winning hit yesterday. He's from Denver Christian High School. He lived here for about 6 years growing up. Great football player also.
Well, won a state championship, too. A state championship as a football player. How about this? That opposite field home run you saw hit yesterday at that ballpark. First time a left-hander had gone opposite field in that park since it was open. Tells you about some power.
He has power. Rockies
will be subject to rejection. In consideration of the health and comfort of others, the Denver Municipal Code permits smoking in designated areas only. Smoking is not allowed in any of the
against the New York Mets. I know Rockies fans, I'm Mark Stout. Drew Pomeranz went last weekend in Milwaukee. He was great for 4 innings, 4 scoreless innings. And then in the 5th inning, you know what he said? That he lost his balance on the rubber, and that forced him to lose control of his command. 2 hits, 3 walks, 2 runs. The team lost the game. That hiccup can't happen again, according to the skipper.
When the opposition is keeping you from scoring runs, and you've done a pretty good job of it in the early part of the game, and it looks like the game's going to continue to unfold to where there's not going to be a whole lot of offense, you're not allowed to have a major hiccup. Hang with them. You can't have it. You're going to lose if you do. And whether you're 22, 29 with 6 years of experience, or you're 49 with 23 plus, you have to understand that. That's just the way the business works at this level.
Of course, that 49-year-old is Jamie Moyer, so I asked him what kind of advice he would give Drew Pomeranz, and he said that he saw that Pomeranz in Milwaukee kind of lost focus when he went to the stretch, and maybe when he's out in between innings with his warm-up pitches, go to the stretch and get a little bit more used to it. That was Moyer's advice. Moyer's been around. We'll see what Drew Pomeranz does in this first game of 3 against New York. It's the Rockies and the Mets as they begin a 9-game homestand from Coors Field. First pitch comes your way next.
Network AT&T Rethink Possible. By Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. By Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo customers get your 2-for-1 Rockies tickets today by going to wellsfargo.com/Rockies. Wells Fargo Bank, member FDIC. And by Southwest Airlines, find our fares online only at southwest.com. That's a nice way to spend the afternoon. A little kayaking. Drew Pomeranz is going to spend his evening doing a little pitching, and he hopes it's a long evening on the hill. Pomeranz coming off a no decision in Milwaukee, in which he allowed 2 runs on 2 hits, 4 perfect innings, and then had some trouble in the 5th inning. There's Kirk Neuenhuis from Denver Christian High School. He'll lead things off. Big kid. He's about 6'3" and 220 pounds. He's well put together. Here's the rest of Terry Collins' lineup presented by Southwest.com. Ruben Tejada, he takes over for Reyes at shortstop. Just a 22-year-old kid, but he's doing nicely. Daniel Murphy can swing the bat. David Wright, you know his resume. Scott Hairston, the veteran, he'll be batting 5th in left field. Lucas Duda will be in right field batting 6th. Zach Lutz is making his major league debut as a starter. He has just 2 at-bats, both in the pinch, and Mike Nikias is behind the plate. He is the backup to Josh Tolley, and Chris Schwinden is on the hill. This should be Mike Pelfrey's place in the rotation. He looks like he's facing Tommy John surgery. Drew Pomerantz 0-1 so far this year, George.
Saturday, just 5 innings against Milwaukee, although 4 of those were perfect to start the ball game. 1-1, 420 in his 3 career starts here at Coors Field. Left-handers just 200 against Pomerantz. Right-handers have hit .303.
So Drew Pomerantz, who had a real good cutter in Milwaukee, 1 star to go as the fastball zipped in there at 91 miles an hour, taken for a strike by Neuenhuis. That's got in last night at a reasonable hour, picking up a couple of hours in the air, coming off that sweep of Miami. And the curveball catches the bottom of the zone. It's 0-2. That had some sharp break to it. You can see Terry Collins there. Longtime baseball man. This is the 3rd different team he has managed in the big leagues. Also Anaheim and Houston, and that's going to have eyes and go to center field. Then Dexter Fowler struggled with it, and Neuenhuis to second on the error. That's the 2nd error on Fowler this year.
2 things happen here on an 0-2 count. Bad pitch, too much of the plate here. It bounced over the top, out of the reach of Scudero, swung over to pull a little bit, and then Dexter saw it coming at him and totally took his eyes off as he looked up at the first base bag to see what he was doing, and then the ball ran away from him, and consequences, you have a runner at second. Those mistakes can happen early in a ball game.
No, 2 mistakes, George. First, the pitch, and then obviously the error in center field. This is Ruben Tejada. This is where he struggled the other day. You both mentioned that he was perfect through 4 innings, and it wasn't just that he got 12 outs in a row. That's hard enough to do at this level, but it was a dominant 12 outs. In fact, he struck out half the hitters he faced.
And then try to figure out what happened.
But when he went to the stretch, George, he ended up spraying the fastball. He walked 3. This is on the ground slowly to short. Good read by Neuenhuis. He crosses over. Tulowitzki throws out Tejada, and that'll bring up Daniel Murphy, runner at 3rd and 1 out. Rockies defensively have Gonzalez, Fowler, and Kadire in the outfield. The infield has one notable change to it. Chris Nelson has a very sore wrist. He hurt it when he was diving for a ball the other day, so Johnny Herrera is getting the start at 3rd, and it's Tulowitzki, Scudero, Helton with Ramon Hernandez doing the catching. And a breaking ball for a strike on Daniel Murphy. This guy doesn't get a lot of play in terms of publicity yet, George, but he's a good hitter.
Very good hitter. Out on the road this year, he's hit .273, 6 for 22. But with runners in scoring position, an average of .316. So he's done a nice job with that. He's had 19 opportunities, 6 base hits.
Well, Pomerantz is quickly ahead, 0-2.
He worked 0-2 early too on Neuenhuis, and ended up giving that base hit up on a ball out over the middle of the plate.
The Rockies will walk that infield in here with the 0-2 count, despite the fact that it's the top of the 1st inning.
I like to see what left-handers do against left-handers. I want to see if they flinch a little bit on the curveball. Are they seeing the ball out of the hand of the left-hander smoothly as it comes to the plate? There's a little bit of a hesitation in their swing.
Got it with a heater away. Now Murphy didn't look like he picked up the baseball very well in that AB. 2 outs. And David Wright coming up.
Thought this ball really cut right at the very end. Moved about 6 inches away from Murphy, and you can see that swing. What Drew's talking about, not recognizing the pitch on the way. Look, the feet never move. It's more of a lean over swing, self-defense. I hope I foul this pitch off because I know I can't hit it.
And Frage, after the cut, that thing was about 8-10 inches outside off the plate.
Big run. Nice pitch on an 0-2 count.
Now you got to bear down here. David Wright, one of the game's elite hitters, off to a fabulous start. The fastball's up. Wright at 362, among the National League leaders in hitting. He's always done damage against the Rockies. Talking to him earlier, like so many good hitters, he loves playing in Colorado. Line drive to right field, and it's going to tail foul, fortunately. David Wright, George mentioned in the open, he recently hit a 2-run home run that moved him ahead of Darryl Strawberry on the all-time RBI list for the Mets. That was the one that did it for left center field. And he's just 29. He won't turn 30 till the offseason. This kicks away Hernandez after it. And it's 2-1.
Pretty interesting too. These two active players lead the all-time the franchise all-time with RBIs. Todd Helton in his 16th season with the Colorado Rockies at 38 years old, and in his 9th season, 735 RBIs. For David Wright leading the Mets. Strawberry's on that list. Ed Kranepool as through before the game. Kranepool played for a long time, and he's like 5th on that list behind Howard Johnson. Strawberry
came up in the 60s. George, he was 19 years of age. He was a New York kid, and he stuck around a long time. He has some big names. Mike Piazza, as Frage mentioned, 3rd on that list. Wright is 10 for 22 on the road this year. He's got a 3-1 count. Pomerantz will be very careful. He's got Scott Hairston on deck. And he throws the cutter in, and that's a wise way of pitching. You got David Wright at the plate, tremendous bat who's red hot, and that's not to show disrespect for Scott Hairston, but he's not the talent that David Wright is.
But he's hitting 167 with runners in scoring position versus 250. On the road, he's hitting 222, and on the homestand, he struggled with the 1 for 11 on the homestand. So he's not in the middle of a hot streak the way Wright is, particularly out on the road.
Scott's just 1 for his last 13 at the plate. He's had some big hits in this yard, though. He was the one who hit that 2-run home run in the 13th inning to give the Padres a 2-run lead before the Rockies rallied in game 163 in an unforgettable ball game in 2007. Here's the 1-0 on Hairston. That's in there, 1-1. So at third base is Kirk Neuenhuis, a single, an error, and he crossed over on the ground out by Tejada. David Wright is at first, and maybe chatting up Todd Helton, but David Wright's a guy that runs well. Got a conservative lead right now, and this is fouled straight back, so it's a 1-2 count on Hairston. George, we were just in Milwaukee, and there were some people lamenting with the Brewers how much they missed Scott's older brother Jerry, who did such a good job for them down the stretch after coming from the Yankees.
Coming off the bench, get big base hits, being able to play multiple positions for him.
Did a great job at third. He's now with the Dodgers. They got him picked off. Now you got to worry about the guy coming home, and you know what? They didn't get it done. It pays off. David Wright behind in the counts, just going to give himself up now, and the Mets steal a run, literally. Kirk Neuenhuis comes home, and the Mets take advantage of some sloppy work defensively. They have a 1-0 lead. Cool in, and he steals home a double steal attempt. I mean, first David Wright with Hairston behind the counts is trying to get caught in a rundown and stay in it long enough that maybe New and Heights could score. He ended up scoring easily. Rockies did not handle that situation well at all. So that error by Dexter Fowler turns costly. Marco Scutero will lead things off for the Rockies here. And here's the rest of Jim Tracy's lineup, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Johnny Herrera will bat second. You notice Dexter down in the 8 hole. And then the familiar grouping 3 through 7. Cargo, Tulo, Helton, Kadire, and Hernandez. First pitch missed. Ball 1 on Marco Scutero.
It's not the first time Swindon's been on the big league mound. He's been here before. Not in this ballpark, but 4 starts. 0-2, 471 last year for the New York Mets. Feature a sinker, a slider, cutter occasionally. He was 2-2 in Buffalo this year, where he threw the ball pretty good. 205 earned run average. In Fresno Pacific University, the only major league player to make it to the big leagues from Fresno Pacific University. It's nicknamed the Sunbirds. It's an NAIA school.
This is well hit to left, and it's going to drift out of play. There is big wind. I know Mark Stout is down there near field level. Looking at the flags, George, the ones that are high up in left field, it looks like it's blowing right to left, and then when you look at the flags in center field, it looks like it's blowing the other way.
Exactly. So you got a lot of swirling winds right now, and as an outfielder, I thought the ball that Scutero hit was going to be 15-20 rows up into the seats, and then it almost worked its way back into foul territory. A lot of wind.
2-2 count on Scutero. And Marco fouls this off. Let's get an update from Mark on the weather conditions. Mark?
It could be a little bit of an issue tonight. When I was on the field for the pregame, it was definitely swirling, as George said. There were a few gusts. It wasn't too bad. But when you get up to the upper concourse, it's really blowing across left field.
All right, Mark, thank you. Another 2-2, and a good job by Scutero. That's pretty good pitcher's pitch there by Schwinden. Schwinden, a couple of years ago, George, just thought of as more of an organizational type of player. But he had a terrific 2011. He made an all-star team, a midsummer all-star team. Got an opportunity to start 4 ball games late in the season for the Mets. Won't overwhelm you with his stuff.
Well, you know, it's funny because I heard a scout say to me one time, oh, he's a 4A guy. I said, well, how does he become a 5 guy? In other words, the big leagues, without getting 25, 30 starts. You're judging him as a 4A guy based on stuff, not on wins and losses. Bring him to the big leagues, give him 30 starts, see what he does then. Last year, he's the most valuable player in Buffalo.
And this ball is in the air to deep right field, and it is over the head of Lucas Duda. And Scutero is around second, digging for third. He's going to have it easily. A leadoff triple for Marco Scutero. And for Scutero, his first triple in a Rockies uniform.
Continued to work him away. And for a guy that's hit in the 2-hole most of his career, he's used to going to the opposite field, but he does it with authority on this cutter.
I think the wind played a role in this also. The ball was hit well, but Duda didn't realize, A, how well, and then it got caught up, I think, in that breeze.
I would agree, because the ball continued to float and carry on him, and as he went back on the baseball, I think he felt like he had a play early on it, and it just continued to carry.
Johnny Herrera, chance for the Rockies to get even quickly. Rockies second to Milwaukee in extra base hits. That was their 62nd. But Johnny's been sensational when given the opportunity to start. This is on the ground to short. And the throw to first is in time. Johnny 7 for 14 in the starting role. Didn't get the job done there. 1 out. And that'll bring up Carlos Gonzalez. Here's the Mets defensively. Scott Hairston is in left field. Kirk Neuenhuis is in center field. Lucas Duda is in right. David Wright, of course, at third. Ruben Tejada, Daniel Murphy up the middle. And Zach Lutz in his first big league start at first base. The backup catcher, Mike Nikias.
Gonzalez average might just set at 246, but this is where he has performed brilliantly this year. 5 for 13, a 385 clip with runners in scoring position. Like most big-time ball players, the RBIs, it seems to bring out another level of hitting in them.
He was 0 for 7 and a walk in the doubleheader on Wednesday. Nobody really hit that doubleheader. Rockies had 10 hits in the 2 games. That's inside. The irony is, George, the first game they had 3 hits and they won. Just the 7th time in franchise history that the Rockies won a game with 3 hits or less.
Crazy game, huh?
You never know. And then, of course, Cargo lost 2 balls in the sun back-to-back in a 0-0 game in game 2. Good eye. Changeup, it's 2-1. The Rockies, after swinging the bats effectively in Milwaukee, had a power outage in Pittsburgh. Pirates have really pitched well. Here's the 2-1. 2-2. Rockies had 15 hits and 90 at bats in that 3-game series, just 2 for 13 with runners in scoring position. One of the early season stories, in addition to the Mets' success, the Pirates pitching so well.
They have pitched well. Their bullpen, when you run Hanrahan out there in the ninth, it's a pretty good situation for them. This will get the run across.
Yeah, this will get the job done. On the ground out, Cargo has his 10th RBI of the season, and we're back to even, 1-1. Troy was 1 for 8 in the doubleheader on Wednesday. Hit the ball hard in Pittsburgh. Not a lot of results to show for it. He had a good series in Milwaukee. 320 overall on the trip for Tulowitzki. Rockies 3-3 on that trip. I asked Troy, who's a California native, I said, you ever heard of Fresno Pacific University? He said, come again? I said, Fresno Pacific.
Fresno's up north. He grew up north.
I know. And he said, is it Azusa Pacific? I said, no. He said, is it the U of P, which used to have a program? They dropped it. I said, no, it's Fresno Pacific. He said, nope, never heard of it.
I had never heard of it until I read about it today in the media guide, studying Mr. Swindon's past and where he'd come from.
Little cutter outside. We're talking about this, Jeff and I, Frage, in Pittsburgh. Is there a big league pitcher that does not throw a cutter now?
Not very many. It's become the pitch of choice lately. It's easy to throw. It's a pitch that's not hard on your arm. It's all about grip and allowing the grip and the arm speed to do all the work.
Dougie did some quick homework on Fresno Pacific. I almost forgot its name. It is a Catholic liberal arts college. How many in the enrollment?
I want to say 1,600.
I'm going to say 2,400. And this ball lined to right field, stay fair, and it is a foul ball. It's not like he was unheard of, George, at a high school in California. He was drafted very late, 43rd round out of high school, so
Detroit.
He obviously was a talented kid.
Detroit took him out of high school, then the Mets took him in the 22nd round in 2008, so he's made a quick trip here to the big leagues. Terry Collins, all about development and all about using players within their organization. How many people are in the school group?
It's a regular Ohio State, George, when it comes to enrollment. You and I were both wrong. 3,603.
Wow. This semester?
It's up to date.
3,603. Now I think you made the number up, Doug.
Just wanted to see if we were reading his
Yeah.
note.
That's one thing about Swindon. He's got a busy hand inside that glove.
This ball hammered to left. If it's fair, it's long gone. Bye-bye baseball. 2-1 Colorado. For Tulowitzki, his third jack of the year.
And that home run also helps it tie for the lead on this ball club in RBIs with Michael Kadire, 11 now. Third home run. Did I have a misprint when I wrote those things down today? I did. Takes for Tulowitzki now. He has 10 RBIs. I apologize. Boy, look at this. You talk about opening up and anticipating a fastball to the inner half of the plate.
Two-strike count on Helt. For Troy, that was his 125th career home run. Closing in on Helt. That's a foul ball. Todd's got 350. Tulowitzki, though, is 3 shy of Matt Holliday on the Rockies' all-time home run list. Matt hit 128 in the Rockies uniform, which is, again, 6th. Two-strike count on Helt. And Todd pulls the baseball fair down the right field line. And Helton is going to have career double number 560. It may be a triple. We'll see how it's scored. Todd goes to third. Duda had all kinds of issues picking up the baseball in the right field corner.
Well, Helton did show a lot of speed with a stolen base out on the road trip.
He's flying now.
Fastball trying to come in, up, left it out over the plate, turned on very quickly by Todd Helton. Hands came through on the inner half of that body. Whoa, what a great replay of that swing. Shot that thing down in the right field corner. When it got into the corner, that's when the trouble began. Hit very hard by Todd Helton. Duda's thinking, okay, I'll take this ball and cut it off before it gets to the wall. Once it gets to the wall, it's going to make that hard turn, and that's exactly what happened to him. Richie Dyer bringing him into third base.
Here's Kadire, and Michael takes a strike.
It's all about that middle of that lineup Jim Tracy has talked so much about.
Should go as Todd's first triple of the year. And this is pulled to third. David Wright's got it. And that is the third out. The Rockies take a 2-1 lead on the home run by Troy Tulowitzki. Root Sports is brought to you by your neighborhood Toyota stores. Toyota, moving forward. By CenturyLink, fast speed and a low monthly price. Visit CenturyLink.com. By the Colorado Lottery, don't forget to play. And by Southwest Airlines, find our fares online only at Southwest.com. Troy Tulowitzki goes deep in the first inning. Rockies have a 2-1 lead. Drew Pomerantz gave up an unearned run in the first. And he'll resume his battle with Scott Hairston. And that pitch is high. Hairston at the plate with a 1-2 count with David Wright in the first and third situation. Took off for second. The intent obviously to get in a rundown. It worked out because Kirk Neuenhuis, who was at third, was able to score without a throw. And that's a base hit.
A sloppy defense attributed to the run against Pomerantz in the first. The error by Fowler, then the rundown.
Yeah, it was not a crisp rundown. Let's check in again with Mark Stout. Mark?
You know what, guys? It's the year of the fan with the Rockies. It's Fan Friday, so we're going to utilize social media tonight to get some questions for you that we'll answer here during the broadcast. You can go to my Twitter account at @rootsports_MS. Facebook, try them all. I've got my iPad. I'm not going to count on this, but I'm pretty much a rookie at social media. But we'll get some questions and we'll get some answers tonight. All right, Drew and George?
Oh, stop it, Mark. You spend half your day on social media. I know you do. All right, fire those questions to Mark, and we'll try to answer whatever ones he passes along. See, that gentleman's complying. 0-1 the count on Lucas Duda. With Hairston at first. Teams have been able to run, especially Arizona. Stole 4 bases on Pomerantz, so unusual for a lefty. And the first base coach for the Mets, George, is a guy we know well, a guy who really could steal bases, Tom Goodwin.
Very good job of reading pitchers, watching the moves. And a lot of times with Pomerantz, what happens is he gets long to the plate, and that delays sometimes his ability to hold runners and commit to either first or home, be able to hold them. Now, this is something that Jamie Moyer worked with him, along with Bob Apodaca and Jim Wright, along with Tommy Runnels, who was a base running coach in the early part of his career. There's A moves, B moves, and C move. That was a C move. And there's step and throw, just try to tighten his lead up a little bit. Tom Goodwin with a stopwatch is attempting to get a time from the release of when the foot picks up and when it hits the plate.
Swung on and missed, and Duda's gone. Second strikeout for Pomerantz, first out of the second inning.
Doesn't make a lot of difference when you make a pitch like this. 90-mile-an-hour fastball, cut at the last second. This looked an awful lot like the pitch to Murphy on the strikeout. Good pitch by Pomerantz.
That'll bring up Zach Lutz. Looking for his first big league hit. Got called up, George, when Jason Bay went on the DL.
Still wearing a minor league helmet.
Yeah. Double ear flap. You know, if it's not one thing, it's been another for Jason Bay, signing as a free agent, leaving Boston, coming to New York.
Well, they expected a lot of RBIs. You know, the free agent same time frame really with Matt Holliday. A lot of comparisons with Matt Holliday. Would he continue to go do and put the numbers up that he had in the past? And unfortunately, injury bug has gotten him as far as being able to play a large amount of games. It has hurt an awful lot of his production.
He's going to be out 2 to 4 weeks with that rib injury.
For a hitter, ribs, obliques, that's such a tough injury to try to come back from, and try to come back quickly.
Yeah, and he wasn't hurt swinging the bat. He was hurt diving in the outfield. Last year, Bay hit just .245 with 12 home runs. 2010, played 95 games, hit only 6 home runs. Runner takes off, and the hit and run was on. Here's the injury to Bay.
almost caught the baseball in the momentum when you fully extended like that with both arms up in the air trying to brace yourself. The rib cage just slammed off of the turf. It was Burt when he popped up. In Boston 2009, he had 267, 36 home runs, and 119 RBIs. In his time spent with the Mets, he's hit 251 and only had 21 home runs and 109 RBIs total.
Lutz, another one of those homegrown Mets, 5th round pick in 2007. Here's the 2-2. It's chopped foul. Played for his dad at a Division III school in Pennsylvania, Alvernia College.
We're picking some schools out tonight.
Yeah.
Where's that one?
Well, George, come on, man, you should know. It's in Reading. It's in Reading, PA.
Where the Philadelphia Phillies AA affiliate is and has been for a number of years.
Sizable lead for Hairston at first. Boy, we've seen a couple of those, George, on the road trip. Late timeouts granted by a home plate umpire. That must have been really frustrating when you were on the hill.
Yeah, very frustrating. And a lot of times pitchers will continue to throw the pitch. If it's a curveball, you continue to throw like a 50-mile-an-hour fastball because so many injuries can happen when you start that arm action forward.
Veteran umpire Gary Darling. First full year in the big leagues was 1988 for Gary. Makes his home in Arizona in the offseason. Two-two, swung on and missed. And Pomerantz strikes out Lutz. Second out.
Elevated fastball, particularly when you work down, can be a big advantage for a left-hander. That ball was on the inner half and cutting in on the right-handed batter, and that ball was by him very quickly. Good location for the pitch.
2 gone, and Mike Nikias is at the plate. Nikias last April got his first career RBIs against the Rockies. You may recall last April the Rockies, this was when they were super hot out of the gate, went to New York and swept a 4-game series at Citi Field. That's a series Tulowitzki had a home run every game. He now has 8 career home runs against New York. He had 5 last year. Mets actually counterpunched a little bit last year. They came to Colorado in May and took 2 of 3. 1-1, runner takes off, and on the ground to second, and off of Scudero into Shout. That hit the runner, he's out. That hit the runner, he's out. Second base umpire Paul Emmel took a look at it after a second and said it hit the base runner. And Hairston is out. End of inning, fortunately, because Hairston may have tried to score on this.
Surprised he didn't get up off of this ball. Didn't happen, though.
triples, owned by Todd Helton. First triple he's had since 2010. 36th triple of his career. Who wants tacos? Remember, if the Rockies score 7 or more runs during any game, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day between 4 and 6 and get your Rockies special. Feed your Rockies fever only at Taco Bell. Well, watch Paul Emmel, the umpire. From, in the sun, George, the way the dive came a Scudero, you thought maybe it went off a Scudero, and Paul Emmel, watching the whole way, realizes that it got the back leg of Scott Hairston.
It did, and then you can see the ball get redirected about 10 or 12 feet.
Now you scored that, a base hit for Nickius and 4 unassisted. That's how you account for the out, but Nickius gets a base hit. Ramon Hernandez at the plate. It's one of those odd scoring deals on a play you rarely see.
Yeah, most guys hop or jump over the top of the baseball.
2-0, and this is popped up and out of play. Tell you what, Ramon would like that pitch back. That was where he could get his arms extended. He accounted for the Rockies' lone run in the nightcap on Wednesday, hitting a home run to dead center field in Pittsburgh, his 3rd jack of the year. It's tied for the home run lead on the club with Tulowitzki and Helton. 2-2.
Had his struggles in his career versus the New York Mets. A 185 average, just a home run and 7 RBIs in his career against New York.
One of the things the Mets like about Schwinden is he does not walk people. 3-2 throughout his minor league career. He's been a contact pitcher.
See, I mean, that's why I say a lot of times I say guys are 4A players. Well, give them 300 or 400 at bats, give them 30 starts, and then make that determination.
3-2, and check swing bouncer to second, 1 out.
We'll buy a green pack. 2 tickets for $24, and $5 will go towards Games of Green initiative. Available April 29th and May 1st for those days. So buy the $24 green packs and take advantage of that. Help out. ColoradoRockies.com/green if you would like more information.
Dexter swings and hits one to left field. Easy play for Hairston, 2 outs. That'll bring up Pomerantz. Well, George, news out of Washington. Ryan Zimmerman's got to go on the 15-day disabled list. Guess who they're bringing to the big leagues?
Let me think. High-profile guy.
Yeah.
Gave him a lot of money as a #1 draft pick.
A lot of money.
Used to catch in high school, and they went to right field in junior college.
He supposedly hit a 500-foot home run when he was 15. Bryce Harper's coming to the big leagues. His big league debut over the weekend.
Struggled a little bit with their AAA ball club. It wasn't like he went there and just set the world on fire, but with the money they have invested, it's kind of like the Strasburg deal.
How about that? Drew Pomerantz with a base hit. His second big league hit. He got that first one out of the way last year.
On a 1-2 pitch. Tried to go upstairs with him, and Pomerantz, big guy. 6'5", wanting to pitch down and away, backs up out over the top of the plate. Pomerantz got on top of it, just hit him right back up the middle.
Pomerantz heard us talking about Bryce Harper. He said, wait a second, I can swing the bat too. They were in the same draft class. Pomerantz was the 5th pick. Bryce Harper was the #1 pick. Harper hitting .250 with Syracuse. Outside on Scudero. Marco had a triple to right in the bottom of the first inning. He's hit 9 of his last 10. He hasn't caught fire yet. It's been a hit here and a hit there. And if you think about it, there's no Rocky other than Kadire the first couple weeks or so that was really hot. In fact, Michael came into the ball game the only Rocky hitting over 300. And though at season's end, typically, as you look at Kadire, you're not going to have a ton of, 300 hitters. I mean, if you had 2, that's a really good lineup. But early on, where averages fluctuate so dramatically, you'll see it. It's like the Mets right now. They have a bunch of guys pretty hot. 3-0s in there, 3-1. Mets come in, and Murphy's over 300, Neuenhuis over 300, David Wright over 300.
They got some guys swinging at bat. Tolle, the catcher, Tolle was swinging about well. He's averages near 300. By the end of the year, though, the bubblegum bird's probably going to read Gonzalez, Helton, and Tulowitzki and be above 300.
That's what history has told us. Todd has had his moments, had some big hits in Milwaukee. Couple home runs there. In fact, only 3 hits on the road trip for Kadire, but 2 of them were game winners. But nobody's caught fire yet. Here's the 3-2 on Scudero. Ground ball up the middle. Tejada's got it. And a good looking play to end the inning. We will go to the third. The Rockies 2 and the Mets 1. College Invest, are you saving for college or just talking about it? Rockies up 2-1. Welcome back. The lower downtown Denver, Coors Field. With George Frazier and Mark Stout, I'm Drew Goodman. It is very windy. Drew Pomeranz getting ready for his 3rd inning of work. It'll be Chris Schwinden, the pitcher, and then the top of the order for New York. Pomeranz gave up an unearned run in the first. Neuenhuis on an 0-2 pitch bounced one up the middle, leading off the ball game, and then Dexter Fowler kind of took a peek to see if Neuenhuis was taking an aggressive turn, took his eye off the baseball, and that error allowed Neuenhuis to get the second. Fielder's choice to third, and then he would score on what turned out to be a little first and third, getting a run down at first. Allow the runner at third try to score. He did. Stolen base for Nieuwenhuis. Steal of home, and that's how the Mets got their run.
13 at bats in his career. Should say 19 total career at bats. 2 hits for Swindon. This year at the AAA level, he's 1 for 13. Last year he was 1 for 6 in those starts in September for the ball club.
Helton in foul ground will have a play. One gone, and here comes Kirk Nieuwenhuis again.
Good looking athlete. Yeah, I looked at his picture in the media guide and I go, football player. Big square jaw, big thick neck.
Yeah, you could tell.
Yeah.
6'3", he's listed at 215. He may be bigger than that.
Off to a great start here at the New York Mets. 344 average, a base hit, start the game here.
He came up after a couple of days, was not on the opening day roster, came up because of an injury, and here's that opposite field home run against Barry Zito. George mentioned first left-handed hitter to hit the ball out to left, and this is his walk-off hit yesterday.
He's not intimidated by the situation, I can tell you that. Playing in New York, going against Heath Bell yesterday.
One on Nieuwenhuis. He's been asked a lot about his football career at Denver Christian. He was recruited by a number of institutions. He was offered a full ride by Gary Barnett at the University of Colorado. Fisher DeBerry wanted him to play at the Air Force Academy. Sonny Lubick offered him a full ride at Colorado State, and he opted to go to Azusa Pacific and play baseball. And one of the reasons, and I don't know if it's tongue-in-cheek or not, but he's told this story a bunch. He told it earlier. Told it earlier today. Was that he was at a football game, standing on the sideline at CU with other recruits, and he looked at the guy next to him, was about 6'2" and 210. Said, "Man, that's a big running back right there."
Baseball looks like a lot of fun to me right now.
But you got to hear the rest of the story, George. The kid he's looking at, who's about 6'2", 210, thinks he's a running back. He goes out there, he starts kicking. It was Mason Crosby.
Oh, man.
Who was an All-American kicker at Colorado and is a tremendous kicker in the NFL for the Packers. And he now draws a walk against Pomerantz with 1 out. He said, you know what, maybe baseball's a safer way to go. But to George's point, he's a big dude. Let's check in. Mark spent some time talking to Nieuwenhuis earlier today as well.
Yeah, he spent from 7th grade until 12th grade here in Colorado. His family had moved from Texas. Said he was a big Broncos fan, big Rockies fan. Came to Coors Field, Old Mile High Stadium, to see the Broncos. And we were talking to him about playing football. In the 2A championship game in 2003 as a junior, he ran for 268 yards as Denver Christian had their win over Eaton 26-0. So that's kind of where the ball got rolling. But I think he made the good choice picking baseball, guys.
Yeah, listen, that had to be a sound decision, though. He obviously was a very gifted football player. And when I had heard about that story before meeting Nieuwenhuis, I thought, okay, he's going to be he's center fielder, smaller type guy, right?
Right. You're thinking Lenny Dykstra in his prime?
Yeah, I mean, he's got to be one of the biggest center fielders in baseball, along with Josh Hamilton.
Well, he runs so well side to side and breaks on baseballs. They brag and talk an awful lot about that. And when Torres went down, they're going, okay, what are we going to do in center field? Well, the nice thing about this kid, he can play all 3 outfield positions. He's going to take over center field for a while with the injury to Bay and Torres.
You get a feel for how big he is because Todd's a big man. And when you hear stories, and all your teammates always hear stories. So David Wright heard the story coming back that this kid was a great football player, close to 300 yards rushing in the state championship game. He dug a little bit. And he said, wait a second, Denver Christian. He goes, how big was the school? He goes, well, it was 2A. He goes, how many classifications? He said 5. He goes, oh, it's just 2A. And he started good-naturedly giving him a hard time. 0-2 on Ruben Tejada. With Neuenhuis at first base. He's a threat to go. This isn't typically the count you'd run on, though.
Don't let this guy at first and his lead and maybe anticipation of stealing a base disrupt your thought process of getting the out at home plate and making a bad pitch.
Well, that cutter gets served to right field. Now it's going to be first and third. What were you saying?
Just what happened. Making sure on an 0-2 count that you make the pitch you need to make, and it's off the plate enough. They're not going to have a swing. Freeze it out front. You're going to see it right there. I mean, that ball right out in front of the plate was chest high. Allowed the guy that hits in the 2-hole to do what he likes to do, and that's take the ball the opposite field where the position of the pitch is. You can see here. See how, look how his hands are right here inside the baseball, angle of the bat. Everything worked in his favor because of the position of the pitch.
Daniel Murphy at the plate. He struck out his first time. It's way outside. Well, George, just think this game's only less than 3 innings old. Pomerantz has given up 2 0-2 base hits
that have hurt him,
and Neuenhuis, left on left, has drawn a walk and also had that one of the 0-2 base hits.
That's making a pitch to get it out of the way. But credit the guy to having a pretty good eye and not swinging. Maybe it's some pitches just off of the plate, but still that same anticipation of being able not to allow this thing to come across.
Short left field. In fact, Tulowitzki's going to go out. He makes the catch. 2 gone. Join in the conversation later on with Toyota Talk. We'll do it in the 6th inning. Text Toyota to 720-720. Plus, you learn how to win a $500 gas card. That's Toyota Talk. 2 outs, first and third, and David Wright's at the plate with the Rockies ahead 2-1. Wright walked in the first inning. That was Pomerantz pitching around Wright.
And that's really not a bad
at third.
You know, you mentioned earlier about Wright's success at Coors Field. He's always loved coming here. In 26 ball games, and let's go back to what you're talking about. Maybe it was a smart walk when it happened. He's only hit .364 with 8 home runs and 29 RBIs. And this is a guy that only visits 3 games a year here. Sometimes 4 in a 4-game series. Those are impressive numbers. Big numbers.
Here's the 0-1, and on the ground to second. Scudero's got it, and Pomerantz not hurt. Big out there. We'll go to the bottom of the third with the Rockies ahead by a run. Herrera, Gonzalez, and Tulowitzki. And the Rockies in the bottom of the third will have Johnny Herrera to lead things off. Little flip in the lineup for Jim Tracy tonight, Frage. Dexter Fowler, who's been struggling a little bit, was moved down to the 8th spot, maybe a less pressure spot. Johnny, who swung the bat well, moved up to the 2-hole. That's an ideal place for Johnny when he plays.
Absolutely, because he can move the baseball, hit behind runners, he can bunt, he can pull the ball around with him, do a lot of things that Jim Tracy likes to see out of the 2-hole spot. All that stuff has to work, though, if your leadoff man gets on base. But I think, too, with moving Dexter down, take the pressure off of it.
One and two on Herrera. Johnny makes his offseason home in Denver with his family. Native of Venezuela. As we've told you on many an occasion, he grew up with the guy who's on deck, Carlos Gonzalez. I was kidding Johnny the other day. I said, man, Cargo went and hit 2 home runs in the game on you. Just moved ahead of you in the home run derby. He says, I'm going to get him.
Well, he's used to this. Get on base, let Cargo knock him in. They've been doing it since grade school.
Yeah. Two and two on Herrera. And Johnny hits it to shallow center field. Was this going to drop? Nope. Tejada got out there and made the play. Well, this past Tuesday, the boys and girls clubs of Greater Salt Lake City had a couple of special visitors. The Rockies owner Dick Montfort was there. Dinger as well, handing out hugs. The kids enjoyed a big pizza party, received Rockies t-shirts, got to pose for photos with Dinger. And then Dick Montfort and the Rockies made a donation of $5,000 to the Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater Salt Lake City. There are a lot of Rockies fans over in the state of Utah. It's a great baseball state. And I know a lot of folks look in, not only in the Salt Lake area, but elsewhere to root sports and check out the Rockies. We greatly appreciate it. And the Rockies appreciate it as well. That's one of the unique things about having, Georgia, a regional baseball team.
Well, it really is. There's nobody around you here. I mean, if you went into, say, Springfield, Missouri, or Tulsa, Oklahoma, you've got the Rangers, the Astros, the Cardinals, the Royals. You have 4 teams within a 5-hour drive. You can go watch whatever you want to here. It's great. The Rockies encompass so many great fans.
Up and down the Rocky Mountain corridor. 1-1 on Cargo. And that's up the middle of base hit. Cargo digging out of the box, and he's going to put on the brakes. As NYN got to the baseball very quickly. So a 1-out single for Gonzalez. That'll bring up Tulowitzki.
Great swing. You can look at it on Mike Shaw Subaru Super Mo right here on it. Great swing by Cargo. Kept the hands back, waited for the ball to travel to him, didn't get aggressive with the swing, and took it right back up the middle.
So Gonzalez at first. A couple of stolen bases already this year. And that pitch in on the for a strike. Tulowitzki with a first inning home run, and it's our Coors Light Cold Hard Blast. Troy's 3rd of the year. Two runs, 5 hits for the Rockies as they hit here in the 3rd. Neuenheist center field. Shaded a good 4-5 strides toward right center field. If Tulo were to hit that left center field gap, man, he'd run for a long time.
And we've talked about this in other telecasts. As a hitter, you can look to your center fielder to give you an indication of where they're going to try to pitch you and where they're going to try to stay away from.
And
You think back on that home run, the ball was in when they wanted the ball away. So Tulowitzki capitalized on a big mistake that they made with the pitch and the location of the pitch. But remember, the ball that he hit hard down the right field line off the wall, it just went foul. Cutter away. First pitch here, cutter, or second pitch, I should say, to go 0-2 was a cutter away.
And to your point, Nicky is setting up again on that outside corner. There goes Cargo, and this is a flare to right center field, but it's going to be caught by Neuenhuis, and now the throw to first is not going to be in time. 2 outs.
That time the Mets pitched him perfectly and played him defensively to where they wanted to. He pitched to the defense.
That's right, because George, if he's playing straight up or left field shade, he doesn't get to that baseball.
You're right. Not going to catch the baseball. One, because of the way the wind is blowing, it's going to knock it down. I think that's part of it. So you can see him playing right here. Now, if he's sitting right here straight up, it's going to be difficult because this ball is going to be tailing away from him in this fashion because of the wind and off the right-handed bat. And instead, his positioning defensively, Swindon pitched to the defense.
Helton a triple down the right field line his first time up. That's right. You heard me correctly. A triple. Ball kicked around in the corner. Lucas Duda had to wait for it. And Todd had his first triple since August 25th, 2010.
Now the opposite type setup defensively. Neuenhuis to the left. They're going to try to pitch Helton away, but I think you're really going to an awful lot of it. You made a mistake there. You got away with. First inning, fastball in, ripped over the first baseman's head down into the right field corner. Duda's going to try to trap it in that corner, and then nope, the rabbit got away from him, and Helton comes up with a triple.
Got a question for you, George. That was Todd's 36th triple.
Okay.
Dexter's sitting on 39 triples. Does Todd catch him this year?
I don't think so.
Just asking.
I mean, it's a legitimate question with his speed. It's been shown on this road trip. We mentioned earlier, Helton with a stolen base.
That was his first since 06.
Well, it's the first time they gave him the green light.
He ought to be hacked off about that, don't you think?
Absolutely.
It's just an element of his game.
They just put it on the shelf.
Not taking advantage of.
They put it on the shelf, put it in the closet, turn the light off. I don't understand it.
2-2 on Helton. All-time triples list for the Rockies. Nafy Perez leads with 49. Larry Walker 44, and then Dexter with 39. And then the Knoxville Flash.
Appropriately named.
Cargo takes off, line drive. David Wright stabs it, and he was playing over in that 5.5 hole. So good defensive positioning for the Mets really pays off in that third inning. Rockies leading 2-1 as we go to the fourth.
Fan Friday, You're the Fan. We're utilizing social media. You can send me a question. I got one via Facebook from Nick Kaufman from Rawlin, Wyoming. And he asked about Michael Kadire and adjusting from Minnesota to Colorado. So I asked him today, I said, what was the process? Kadire said when he was here for Rockies Fan Fest in January, he looked at 6 or 7 homes to rent without his wife present. Claudia wasn't here. He felt the pressure, but he said he made a good choice because the home that he picked has a ballpark right across the street. His 3.5-year-old Casey can go over there and play. He's got 5-month-old twins, so things are A-okay. Nick for Michael Kadire here in Colorado. Drew, George?
I never liked that pressure.
Wait till Mama came to town.
Absolutely. Do not rent the house without mother. It's not a smart thing to do.
I talked to Michael about that. He got high marks from his wife.
Well,
here's the 0-1 on Hairston, outside 1-1.
I mean, you're trying to do the right thing, you know. I thought the garage apartment in Holyoke was fine for me. At Double-A, I mean, it was $400 a month. I thought it was a great deal.
Was that the one that had where a rope had to keep the front door closed?
No, that was Burlington, Iowa. That was better. That was $100 a month. That was the trailer they lived in that had a 100-foot rope to tie everything down so the doors didn't come open when we had wind.
Yeah, man. The good times.
Oh, yeah.
This ball turned on by Hairston, deep left field, and gone. Hairston has tied it up with a home run for Scott, his 2nd of the year.
Well, we mentioned earlier all the great numbers that these guys put up. It seems like when they come to Coors Field. Drew mentioned his brother Jerry and a big role that he played with Milwaukee, and this young man has done the same through his career. He's played multiple positions for a lot of teams. He got a fastball up from Pomerantz right out over the middle of the plate and shot it right down that left field line.
Of course, Scott's played a lot of ball games at Coors Field. So much time in the National League West. Cutter swung on and missed by Lucas Duda. That hit him. So again, George, Pomerantz struggling against left-handed bats.
And that's puzzling. You know, left-handers had only hit 200 against him coming into this ball game. But it's making pitches. They want a fastball inside. Just catches him as he made an offering at the pitch. Caught him right on the form. First hit batsman this year for Pomerantz.
Zach Lutz at the plate. He struck out his first time. 3 punch outs for Pomerantz. Nobody out. Lucas Duda's at first. On the swing, says Lance Barrett.
And I thought he did. I mean, a lot of times hitters will swing forward with a quick swing and bring it back in hopes that they don't get rung up for it. But I felt like here, see, watch how quick he comes to it. His pitch is in. Now I'm going to try to pull it back to make it look like I didn't go, but he did.
One and two on Lutz. He's got him again. Strikeout number 4 for Pomerantz. First out of the 4th inning in a 2-2 ball game, and the 8-hole hitter coming up is Mike Nickius. Ball one on Nickius. Wells Fargo customers, get your 2-for-1 Rockies tickets by going to wellsfargo.com/Rockies. Wells Fargo Bank, member FDIC. Nice Friday night crowd. Coors Field, first of 3 with New York. Dodgers come in for 3. And then the Atlanta Braves will complete this homestand from Colorado before they head out west to take on the Padres. And it's 3-0 on the Mets catcher. So the Mets swept the Marlins the last 3 days. The much anticipated return of Jose Reyes to Citi Field. Ball 4, 4-pitch walk, and that'll bring up Schwindon, the pitcher. Reyes 1 for 12 in that series. Probably the best ball he hit, George, was his first at bat, and Neuenhuis made a circus catch in center field.
That's right. Yeah, right, exactly. The starting staff for the Mets against Miami, 20 2/3, just 10 hits given up. They walked 3, struck out 24, and the Marlins hit 139 against that starting group that went heads up against the Marlins. And of course, the Marlins, everybody thought, this is a team that's going to win or contend in the National League East. It hasn't gone so well for Ozzie Guillen and his ball club.
Not yet. It is still very early. Team that's off to a great start is oh, look out. That's popped up. Everybody gets back. Team that's off to the great start in the NL East, the Nationals.
Yeah, how about that? Well, they're getting some strong pitching. Obviously, Strasburg is back. Throwing the ball extremely well. A hot bat, but Zimmerman going down is not going to help things.
No, but maybe, we talked about Bryce Harper coming up. Maybe a little less pressure on Bryce Harper. For Mike Rizzo, their GM, maybe the timing's a good thing as opposed to everybody focusing on Harper being the savior. He can just try to fit in.
Well, I would agree with that because he has never dominated anywhere in the minor leagues yet, like everybody thought he would. They thought he'd hit 30 home runs. They thought he'd drive in 90 and move through the system and get here much quicker. And that has not happened for him. He has struggled for me, he struggled at every level.
This goes through
well at all.
Ramon Hernandez.
What a little bit of a cross up here.
And Duda to third, Nickius to second. Neuenhuis is at the plate in a 2-2 game.
I want to see this pitch because, it almost looked like he tried to catch it off his chest protector. I mean, it looked like he was totally crossed up. So he's down, thinking cutter, hit onto the ground. Oh, wild pitch. Bounced down on the ground and just difficult to hang on to. Skipped right underneath the glove and all the way to the back screen.
Neuenhuis, a single and a walk. Good curveball, 1-1. He's got a bunch of friends here. Grew up in the Highlands Ranch area, as Mark told you, for about a half a dozen years. His parents flew in for the series. They live in Northern California now. High pop up to shallow left field. Cargo battling the wind. Look out. He's got it. Wow.
Not an easy play.
Not an easy play. 2-2 game on the Hairston home run.
big night. It's Dexter Fowler T-shirt night. So a question about number 24. He was drafted in the 14th round of the 2004 draft by the Rockies. He's got two teammates that have been drafted in a later round that are on this team in a different year. Can you name those two other players on the Rockies? We'll get to the answer here coming up. Drew, George?
That's a good trivia question, Mark. Thank you. We go to the fourth inning. Michael Kadire will lead it off, then Ramon Hernandez and Dexter Fowler against Chris Schwenden. Too young in terms of major league experience pitchers tonight. Schwenden making his 5th big league start, 4 last year, and Drew Pomerantz making just a 7th big league start.
Looked like first time I've seen you throw the slow curveball. 73 miles an hour. And threw it where he wanted to. I mean, it was kind of a show me pitch to start the at bat off versus, you know, I'm going to strike you out or get you out with this pitch. He just wanted to get ahead with it, put the thought process in there.
Off the plate, 2-1. Kadire, a sharp ground ball to third that ended the first inning. The Rockies played it a couple in the first inning against Schwenden. He's given up a couple of singles since then. Way inside. 3-1, despite the fact that the forward strike zone indicates it should be 2-2. And Michael pops this one up.
Look how much the outfielders just float coming in, and it's just, you know, they start floating over and over and over. That time Schoenheis almost moved over a good 10, 15, 20 feet because of the wind here at Coors.
Rockies fans, take your heart for a walk this June. Save lives by joining the American Heart Association at the Denver Heart and Stroke Walk on Saturday, June 2nd. For more information and to sign up, visit denverheartwalk.org. denverheartwalk.org.
Hernandez takes a strike. Ramon check swing ground ball to second, his first time up. Like Jorge De La Rosa, George, getting closer to beginning his rehab assignment where he'll pitch in minor league games.
Well, and what a big difference that will be. He pitched against the Oakland A's extended team and pitched well. But now all of a sudden you get there, and if you're in Modesto, you're going to have, you know, 1,500, 2,000 people. You're going to have some umpires. You're going to have a different atmosphere. So that adrenaline gets raised to another level. You know, then at next stop, if it is, to Tulsa. Now all of a sudden a team's averaging 5,000 or 6,000 people a night in a ballpark, and it's 3 umpires. The competition much better. That adrenaline goes to another level, and then that's when you can really gauge where they are and how the setbacks, if there is any, which obviously we hope there's none.
Jorge 39-26 in a Rockies uniform, just a 3.51 ERA last year in a 5-2 start before after having to undergo Tommy John surgery. 2 outs, Fowler at the plate. Extra fly ball to Hairston and left in the second inning. And a ground ball to short. Tejada bobbled for a moment, still threw out Fowler. 1, 2, 3, 4th inning. First 1, 2, 3 inning for Chris Schwenden. 2-2 as we go to the 5th. Is out of there. Rogers is in the ball game. He was not warming up, so evidently, something happened to Pomerantz.
Well, he's supposed to lead off the next inning too, so that even makes it a little bit more unusual in a ball game like this. It's strange. Tied 2-2. Here we go. The other day, Ismail Rogers, electric, 1 inning, 3 strikeouts in his last outing. Threw the ball extremely well. Now, between innings, let's check out. We have a little video here with Pomerantz in between innings, talking to Jamie Moyer, Bob Apodaca.
Well, that's Scotty Garrett, who's the assistant trainer. He walked past him. Usually, if there's an injury, a trainer is going to go with you to the clubhouse.
Well, probably Keith Duggar's up in the clubhouse.
So that could be, yeah.
He's a lot of times they'll alternate if there's work being done on a player in the locker room. He'll go up there. Well, here's the overall numbers on Mr. Rogers. He's 0-1 on the year, 9 2/3 innings pitched. ERA at 3.72. His WHIP at 1.45, a little bit above the National League average a year ago of 1.43.
So Pomerantz gone after 4 innings, and that's not how you want to start a homestand. You know how this ballpark can eat up pitching, George. The Rockies won't have an off day till next Thursday, and now you're going to have to work 5 innings out of your pen tonight in game 1 of a series. So Pomerantz 2 runs on 5 hits in 4 innings. He walked 3 and he struck out 4. Ruben Tejada fouls this back. 2, 3, and 4 for the Mets in the 5th. Daniel Murphy, David Wright on deck. There's David Wright. Rogers, with one exception this year, has been very sharp. Fastball at 95.
The other day it was nice to see tight ball game that he performed well, and that's been kind of the bugaboo for Rogers. You're down 2 or 3, pitch really well. Up 5 or 6, pitch really well. So handling a tight ball game, and that's what he's in right now in a 2-2 game.
Three and 1 to the point that George is making. In the 2-1 Rockies win in game 1 of the doubleheader, Rogers pitched the 8th inning and struck out the side.
Threw the ball really well. Topped out at 98 miles an hour.
Here's the 3-1 on Tejada, and it's on the ground toward the hole, and it will sneak through the left side. Second hit for Ruben Tejada.
For the best deal around, buy the Coca-Cola Value Pack for for either $59 or $79. You can buy either one, $59 or $79, depending on what seat location you'd like to have. Now, those games are available on April 30th and May 2nd. That's the Coca-Cola Value Pack for either $59 or $79. 1-800-388-ROCK to find out more, or just go to ColoradoRockies.com. The Dodgers will be in town. Don Mattingly doing a wonderful job with that Dodger ball club.
They're sitting in first place in the NL West.
Kershaw's on the mound tonight against the Washington Nationals. St. Louis all over Milwaukee, 12-1.
Want to know on Daniel Murphy, strikeout, pop out. Josh Outman, who had an oblique injury late in spring training, looked like he was going to make the club. The bullpen on the left side, George, will begin a minor league rehab in the Cal League with Modesto tomorrow. Talking about De La Rosa on the mend. Outman as well. Pulled down the line, foul. Daniel Murphy is a 13th round pick in 2006 out of Jacksonville University. Again, yesterday the Mets started an all homegrown lineup. Rockies have been close to that on a few occasions the last couple of years. Last time the Mets did that, it was 71. Swung on and missed. Murphy gone.
Well, for a guy that's been tearing it up pretty good, talking about Daniel Murphy, he said a tough night here at Coors Field. A lot of it due to pitches like that. Very good curveball from Ismail Rogers. Great location when ahead in the count, and he got the swing and the strikeout.
David Wright, a walk and a ground ball to second. That's fouled off. All right, George, we'll go back to 71. The last time the Mets started a lineup that was all homegrown.
I want to hear this lineup.
Tell me how many guys you remember. Ted Martinez led off. He
Ted
was
is it Tito?
All
right, go ahead.
Ted Martinez. Buddy Harrelson. The hammer in left field. Yeah. Ed Kranepool batted cleanup. He was at first. That's in there. It's 0-2. Mike Jorgensen was in center field. Yeah. Kenny Singleton, he had a terrific career. He was in right field. Duffy Dyer, who managed here in Denver, AAA. Duffy Dyer was behind the plate.
Played for a long time, and he was with Montreal as a catcher for a while.
Yeah, another longtime baseball man. Tim Foley was at third base.
Wow. Who was on the hill?
Well, this is a guy you know well because he had a career that spanned a couple of decades. Jerry Kuzma. That was the last time the Mets had an all homegrown lineup on the field.
Had Nolan Ryan gone then? Was he out of there by then? 71? Pitched in 69. I know that. I didn't know.
I believe he was.
Because they had John Matlack, Seaver, and Kuzma. Big three.
Was Gary Gentry gone? Here's the 0-2. Swung on and missed. Esmil Rogers on a 96-mile-an-hour heater. Strikes out David Wright. 2 outs.
You talk about challenging a hitter and saying you want to hit it, you can have it if you can catch up to it. Fastball just blew it right by him. That ball got on David Wright in a heartbeat.
And that ball had a little tail on it, George, which is good to see because Esmil Rogers is always throwing extremely hard. The one, listen, it's hard to knock a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. Right. The one knock, as you know, is that he's been pretty straight.
If it's straight, it's easy to adjust to as a hitter. You're just talking about velocity. There's no movement involved in it. The head strike one here at 82-mile-an-hour curveball.
And that's the pitch as Scott Hairston is at the plate. He hit a home run to tie the game last inning. That's the pitch for me that has improved dramatically, his curveball.
Well, it seemed like he always tried to throw the slider/cutter. He hung it a lot. Has worked very hard on this curveball, and realistically, about second start, you really saw this thing take its effect on opposing hitters. Second appearance, I should say. There it is again.
That's a hard curveball. Talk about a curveball, it's in the low 80s. Oh, 0-2 on Hairston.
By the way, Ryan was traded December 10th of 1971 to the California Angels.
So it was after that. Okay. For Jim Fregosi. Center field and deep. Dexter going back and leaps. Can't make the catch. Around third is Tejada. Heading to third is Hairston. Now, Scott Hairston is killing the Rockies tonight. He's a double shy of the cycle. It's 3-2 New York. And all the pitches tonight, it seems, that have hurt the Rockies have come in 0-2 counts.
Curveball, curveball, fastball. Out over the plate and up. Well, similar to the pitch, though, that Wright didn't catch up to. Here's Dexter. You can look on this on the Mike Shaw Subaru Supermo how close this came to getting into some leather. Dexter, great effort in center field.
Dexter looks like might have injured the neck a little bit. 1 strike count on big Lucas Duda. 6'4" and about 245 pounds.
Like Davis has struggled to the tune of 139 average at first base. Of course, dealt with a lot of different things. In spring training, thought he had valley fever. They monitored everything that went on there. Started the season, but has struggled. By the way, Pomeranz left forearm stiffness.
Line drive, base hit, and here comes Scott Hairston, and it's 4-2 New York. Eighth RBI for Duda.
This is where a veteran catcher can go out and spend the time with a young kid and say, look, you're throwing 97, 96. You're making great curveball pitches, but you've got to hit your spots. You're not going to throw the ball by these guys, not at this level consistently. And this is where things get tough. This is where you try to handle a difficult situation.
Ground ball up the middle. That's on through for Zach Lutz. That is his first big league hit.
Struck out in his 2 previous at-bats against Pomeranz.
Tom Goodwin just mentioned it to first base umpire Lance Barrett, who mentioned who
Do you see what Gary Darling did?
mentioned it to Helton, and Helton went over and yeah, go ahead.
He grabbed the baseball. We'll see if we see it after this base hit. Fastball down in the zone, right back up to middle, ground ball, base hit. And as the ball runs up to middle, he's thinking, man, I just got my first big league hit. Guys throwing cheese out on the mound. I was able to get my hit. So then they call timeout and they get the baseball and, you know, the whole routine. But now watch when he flips it. Watch what Darling does. Oh, does this mean anything? Looks over in their dugout and starts throwing out a play. And like, oh, okay. He got into a little bit of the fun of the first base hit, too, as he started to toss it to the Rockies' dugout.
That or he's confused who wanted the baseball.
I don't think Gary, after all these years, got confused. Might have, though. He had a little chuckle there and a little smile.
Mike Nickius at the plate. He gets a curveball for a strike. This thing started harmlessly enough. Tejada at first, 2 outs after the punch outs of Murphy and Wright, the 2 guys that, you know, are the bigger bats in the lineup. And then Hairston, an 0-2 count, hits a triple to center off the wall. And this is going to land harmlessly in left center field. It's going to score another run. 3 2-out runs for the Mets here in the 5th against Esmil Rogers.
Now this young pitcher, Swindon's going to come up with an opportunity to help himself a little bit more, but they've thrown 3 on the board here in a hurry, and nothing's going on in the Rockies bullpen. And another look at it here. Ball's not hit particularly hard off the end of the bat, but just far enough out of the reach of Tulowitzki. Dumped into the outfield. Gonzalez with a hard charge, not going to have a play. This is going to fall. Wow. Second career base hit for Swindon. He had a hit last year in 6 at-bats. His first career RBI at the big league level.
Tell you what compounds it, because you wanted to get length out of Rogers. He's now given up 4 runs here in the inning, and he is set to lead off next inning. You know, it's one thing if you're leading off in a 2-2 game, 3-2 game, even a 4-2 game. But now Jim Tracy's on the phone because you just can't give away outs. Down by 4 runs in the 5th inning.
Matt Reynolds is up through him.
And now you're back at the top of the order, and for the first time tonight, Kirk Neuenhuis is going to see a right-hander. There's the base hit by Schwindel.
Just dumped right over the top there.
5 straight hits, a triple and 4 singles. Two-strike count on Neuenhuis. Single walk and a fly ball to left field. Pomerantz has come back out up from the clubhouse. Just hope whenever you hear any sort of tightness, shoulder, elbow, forearm, anything having to do with the pitcher's arm, there's a strikeout. It really concerns you. 4 runs in the inning, all with 2 outs. 6-2 New York.
The Mets by a score of 6-2. Got to get you the answer to the AT&T trivia question. A lot of Dexter Fowler shirts in the house tonight. The t-shirts given away to the first 20,000. Dex was drafted in 2004 in the 14th round. The 2 players that were drafted after him in a different year on this team, Matt Reynolds was drafted in the 20th round in 2007, and the guy about to pinch hit, EY Jr., the 30th round back in 2003. That is perseverance getting to the big league level, guys.
Yeah, perseverance. Good job with the development, guys. Obviously, the most credit goes to the individuals who get here. It's nice from a draft standpoint, Billy Schmidt and his gang, when you get a 20th round pick and a 30th round pick that not only make your big league roster but are significant contributors.
Keith Duggar working on Dexter Fowler. Dexter Fowler, you had a good call when he hit that wall a minute ago. You see, neck came up a little sore, and now Keith Duggar trying to get some knots out of that shoulder area for Dexter Fowler. We'll do a little work on it here, that side of the neck. All trainers got big thumbs.
Strong hands.
Oh, man, do they ever. Well, EY's going to lead it off. The Rockies pinch hitter 7 for 21 this year, 333 average. Tied for second in the National League. The Padres lead it. 13 for 30, 433 average.
One strike count on EY. Ground ball right back at Schwindel. Safe at first. What a slide by Junior.
Well, that's just plain hustle. A lot of guys on the ball hit back to the mound. They're not going to hustle. Swindon threw it high. He jumps. Now you're going to have an argument from Terry Collins, but I don't think he's going to win it.
Kids, I hope you're watching. Eric Young Jr., little comebacker. Watch him get up the line. Doesn't matter. High throw, and he dives underneath it.
Let's see if he tagged him on the helmet. Ooh.
He may have.
Yeah, I think he did.
But you know what?
Doesn't matter. If he doesn't hustle, you're not getting to have it. Look at EY looking at him.
That can ignite a dugout.
Oh, absolutely.
Just a
You're
little
down,
play like that.
You're down 4. Now all of a sudden you lay that bunt down. You got first and second. Scudero trying to bunt for a base hit. Let's see if he catches it right here. EY heads up play. You know what? Right there on the back. Man got him back. It wasn't the belt on the helmet. I don't think it was the back.
The error goes on Schwindel. Every time I see that, Kadire does that. He busts it every time up the line. You played with the guy who was the best at it, and that was Sean Dunston.
Oh, absolutely did. He only knew how to play the game one way. You know, you wonder if this young kid's thinking 5th inning, just got 4 on the board, looking for my first big league win.
It has to be in there somewhere.
You're thinking, trust me, he's thinking about it. I don't know if that had an effect on the results of the throw, because he's made that throw 1,000 times in his life.
Scudero a triple and a ground ball to short. They pitch out. What pitch outs do you see with a team up by 4 runs?
Well, that's because this man's trying to keep just what you're talking about. Keep that emotions and everything out of that other dugout if they could get it out another way.
Junior takes off, and the throw to second is into center field. Junior's up, headed to third, no throw. He is flat amazing. Folks, he's been on base. Well, let me correct that. He's had 15 at-bats this year prior to the one here tonight, and he has scored 5 runs. He's poised to score his 6th run in his 16th at-bat. And he keeps causing errors because of his speed.
No question about it. I mean, he gets into third base with it, and to think about it, the catcher was 2 for 6 prior to that in his limited time of catching up here. Hadn't made an error. Now he's made his first error, and EY standing at third base. And as a young pitcher right now, you say, all right, you know what? I need to minimize damage here. I got a leadoff man up. I don't want to get into the middle of this lineup. Give this opportunity to build on this. Try to get an out right now. Because of that speed of EY, I mean, he's thinking, man, all I had to do is throw the ball to first base. His thoughts are all trailing to that ground ball back to the mound. I guarantee you.
3-1 on Scudero. Ball 4. And up comes Johnny Herrera. Is this the point where Dan Worthen ought to try to calm down the youngster? Well, David Wright's going to act as a pitching coach right now. Here comes Worthen.
Yeah, 79 pitches, but the young man's been working a little deeper in ball games when he worked in a AAA level. His last minor league win came when he threw a 4-1 victory over the Phillies AAA. We tossed 7 innings there. Only gave up 1 run, so he's been the distance a couple of times. Worthen has been able to survive an awful lot of managers that have been fired because of the job he does with the pitching staff. Manny Acosta, the right-hander, firing down in the bullpen for the New York Mets.
Johnny's 0 for 2. Hit one on the ground and in the air to shortstop. Scudero at first. Eric Young Jr. is at third. Kid out there saying, man, I can taste it. I need 3 outs. I'm on the plus side by 4 runs.
And then he says, I threw it high at first base. And I've walked this guy. What am I doing?
And there's that number 5 on deck, and number 2's behind him. Foul down the line.
I know at Buffalo, when I threw that hook, the guy swung at it. They're not swinging at it. Somebody help me out here.
Wait a second. I got both their baseball cards.
Oh, boy.
One and one on Johnny. Line drive, base hit to right. 6-3 ball game as Eric Young Jr. has ignited a rally.
I guarantee you, Terry Collins sitting in that dugouts thinking, you know, I can't believe this is happening. We just put 4 up. We got this going now. Now all of a sudden, you know, you start to look. Get in the middle of this lineup. One swing from Gonzalez. Tulowitzki's giving away a souvenir already in this ball game. Curveball. Johnny started his hands. Watch his hands start. Hesitate, reset, and then go down and get this pitch. Nice job of hitting by Johnny Herrera.
No stride either.
Very nice. All hands with that swing. Not trying to do too much.
And now the tying run at the plate with nobody out in the 5th inning in Cargo. RBI ground out in the 1st, a single to center in the 3rd. And they're going to set up away. They're playing him away, George. And we know that Cargo has unbelievable plate coverage. His 2 home runs in Pittsburgh came on pitches off the plate away.
They're trying to get him to hook something on the ground, a ground ball. They started off with an off-speed 74-mile-an-hour curveball to the outer half of the plate. By pitching him away, it tells me they're going to run sinkers, off-speed stuff way out of the zone and try to get him to hook something on the ground and try to turn a double play ball. Really a bad mislocation, but a great result.
Cargo expanded a little bit there.
Well, watch where they're sitting up. They want the ball elevated out here. And it got elevated in. Cargo might have to retie the shoes after that swing.
He got a little anxious. 2-strike count. They're going to go way outside.
.296 average. 2012, excuse me, it was runners in scoring position. .357 average with a home run and 7 RBIs for Gonzalez.
1-2, and now he's back in the count at 2-2. Makes a world of difference to a hitter, and it makes a world of difference to you all who pitch.
Yeah, no question. You get back into that 2-2 count, man. You really got to make a pitch here. The guys with average stuff that survive or have the ability to throw off-speed stuff in counts like this.
He went off speed, but he bounced it, and it's now 3-2.
Please don't hit me pitch. Throw it where they're not going to swing. Those two guys trying to figure things out, Worthen and Terry Collins, of their next step. This young man, if Gonzalez gets on through a walk or a base hit, he will not see Troy Tulowitzki.
No, you can't. 3-2 on Cargo.
89 pitches total in the ball game.
High drive, deep center field, way back, and this thing is tied. just like that. Cargo crossed home plate about the same time Terry Collins crossed the white line to go remove his young right-hander.
All by a ground ball to the mound. It all got started. A walk, a base hit by Johnny Herrera, and then the big fly by Gonzalez, and this ball was smoked. Back into the corner, almost off of that brick wall in the visitors' bullpen down by the home plate area. The only guy that was hoping this thing wasn't going to be a home run was Swindon on the mound. Unfortunately, couldn't make the pitch or the play to get out of the inning.
4 runs, nobody out. Current college costs, you better do like so many people have done before you. Go to collegeinvest.org and start an account. You can do it for as little as $25. Again, it's collegeinvest.org. I've got 3 of them. Manny Acosta is on to face Troy Tulowitzki. The Rockies have tied this thing at 6. On a 3-run home run by Carlos Gonzalez, George, it probably should have counted for twice that as far as he hit it.
There's some airtime and some travel. That might even had a buddy ticket with it.
Costa hits the strike zone there, 1-1.
Well, you never get really tired of looking at this. Look on the Mike Shaw Subaru Supermo right now, and you can just see that. I mean, you talk about being squared up on a 3-2 count. Look at Keith Duggar in the background, a trainer for the Rockies. Oh my. This ball's crushed.
I don't care what kind of wind's out there. That thing was cutting through the wind. Troy bounces this one foul, 1-2. So Cargo this year has hit 3 home runs. 2 have put the Rockies ahead when they were behind, and 1 has tied the game.
Well, think about this. With runners in scoring position now, 2 home runs, 10 RBIs, and he was hitting .357 prior to that.
Yeah, he lives for the big moment. Line drive, base hit for Troy the other way.
See, that's a big thing that Tulowitzki's starting to do more of now. Teams are trying to eliminate that power zone on the middle half end because Swindon saw that early when he hit it down the runway in left field. And instead of trying to jerk that baseball, he goes to right field with it. All Swindon can do and think in his thoughts, all I had to do is throw it to first. Now I'm looking at nothing but line drives everywhere. Tulowitzki with a base hit, still nobody out, and helped at the plate.
And George, that's a huge hit because Acosta comes on. That's another hit for Todd Helton because the Rockies just start another rally.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? The home run, okay,
sure.
fresh arm out there,
yeah.
and he can right the ship from the Mets' perspective, but the Rockies come right after him. Back-to-back singles by Tulowitzki
Well, think about this.
And the bewildered look from the young right-hander.
Think about this. 3, 4, and 5 for the Rockies with Gonzalez single home run, 4 RBIs. Troy Tulowitzki home run, single, and RBI. Todd Helton a triple and a single. In the loss the other day, the first 6 guys in the lineup were 3 for 24. That's not the case tonight. Johnny Herrera with the base hit. And it just keeps going on and on here. Doesn't get any easier now with this guy up, Kadire.
Inside on Kadire at 95. Michael, a sharp ground ball to third, and he hit a pop fly to center. Nobody out in a 6-6 game. The inning started with the Rockies trailing 6-2. How quickly things have changed.
I still say it. Oh, I wish I'd have just thrown it to him. Just toss it over there.
.3-0 on Kadire. Michael's hitting .400 this year with runners in scoring position. Ball 4. Acosta's come on. He's given up 2 singles and a walk, and the bases are juiced for Ramon Hernandez. About now, Terry Collins is saying, what happened to my 6-2 lead?
Hernandez is 1 for 2 in his career against Acosta.
Good fastball hitter.
Probably why he threw a curveball or slider, I should say, at 82. This year, the bases loaded, the Rockies have struggled. 1 for 8 as a team. Hernandez 0 for 1.
Kadire at first, Helton at second, and Tulowitzki at third. Outside 1-1 on Ramon, who has 6 career grand slams. Big chopper that's going to get a run in. Helton tagged out by Tejada. And the crucial thing there, George, was that the Mets couldn't get 2 outs on that ground ball.
That's exactly right. Very high chopper.
So Hernandez gives the Rockies a 7-6 lead. That's his 8th RBI. And we've got tacos. Make your way to Taco Bell in the state of Colorado tomorrow. Do it between 4 and 6 for your Rockies taco special. Feed your Rockies fever only at Taco Bell. And now Acosta will face Dexter Fowler as the Rockies have hit around here in the 5th, just as the Mets did in the top of the 5th.
Crazy. Well, what's a little bit crazier is Ismael Rogers, depending on the scorer's discretion, could give him a win after an inning and 4 runs. Depends on what the rest of the bullpen does.
One and one. Yeah, Espil came on and gave up a seeing eye base hit, punched out Daniel Murphy, David Wright, and you thought, okay, no problem, he's going to get out of this inning, and then all of a sudden 5 straight hits, 4 runs. Pick play, and this goes into center field as Tejada moved his glove too quickly. Kadire moves up. Hernandez moves up. The double plays out of order. 2 in scoring position for Fowler. That's going to be an error on Tejada.
I would think so. Second error of the inning, too. Remember the throw. But in the case behind the plate, he's airmailed it on the steal attempt by Young. This ball's right over the top of the bag. It should go to Tejada. Not sure who it will.
Murphy's back on the right side. Tejada started in. Now he's back. And now they're playing about halfway. This ball well hit to right field. Way back and gone. Dexter Fowler has hit a 3-run homer. Gotta love those 3-run jacks. And the Rockies lead 10-6. How about an 8 spot in the 5th?
Well, you ought to get a net run from Duggar more often. That's all I got to say.
Forgot about that.
Yeah. Fastball right over the plate. Dexter, a little flip of the bat. He doesn't get to do that often. What a pretty sight. Well, EY, you got the pinch hit to get to do it again.
It's the second time this year the junior has started a rally and then gotten a second at bat in an inning.
Well, one more look on the Mike Shaw Subaru Supermo. Oh, Dexter, that was pretty. Head right on top of it. And there's Keith Duggar in the background again. Going, here we go again, boys.
That's called a strike. 1-1. 8 runs, George, and let's not forget how it all started. A comebacker off the bat of Eric Young, and because he busted it up the line, a throw that wasn't awful to first base. Zach Lutz had to jump a little bit. EY dove and was called safe. He may have been out still.
And Swindon, all he could do is go, really? Did this really just happen to me? I had a 6-2 lead. What happened? Well, there's 8 runs on the board in this Coors Field. And you don't put balls out over the middle of the plate in this ballpark, you're going to get hurt a lot. Costa, a veteran guy with a pretty good arm, and realizing that you know, this isn't good. 3-1 count, got speed at the plate, need to come with a pitch.
That's called a strike. Junior's going to have to get the bat back on a swing.
Such quick hands a lot of times. See, I think he did commit on that pitch. You know, so as his foot moves forward, bat's out there. Scott Berry, third base umpire.
Now he's got himself a walk. Folks, there's still just 1 out. The Rockies have scored 8 runs. Every time they clear the bases, the next guy reaches.
This is kind of like round 1 and then round 2 and round 3 at the cages. Everybody just keeps getting to hit and have some fun here.
You know what? Now they're going to go to the 40-plus crowd. That's Miguel Batista. He began his career in the Carter administration. Not quite, but not far off. 41.
You had me scrambling. I was looking.
10-6 Colorado. Junior stole a base earlier in the inning. And then on an errant throw by the catcher, Nikias, he went to third. Scudero takes a strike. Eight runs here in the 5th. Eight runs, only 5 hits. There have been 3 walks, 3 errors in the inning by the Mets.
Well, how quickly those boos, when they put 4 on the board in the top of the 5th, that went towards Ismail Rogers and the Rockies, turned to cheers in a hurry, didn't it? That offense got it going.
Josh Renicke's up now for the Rockies. Line drive right field. That's a fair ball. EY's going to go first to third. Scudero on for the 3rd time in the ball game. Terry Collins is going to have to go get Acosta, isn't he?
Well, you'd think so. I mean, the way this thing's going, he can't sit here and let a guy just get his brains beat in. Their pitcher's 8 batters away.
The Cargo, who got the fans on their feet, he's on deck.
Fun to watch, isn't it?
I'm not complaining.
No, I like seeing all these line drive base hits, 11 of them in the ball game, 10 runs on the board, 1st and 3rd, 1 out. Johnny Herrera with an opportunity to get another RBI. I don't think he's gotten 2 RBIs and 2 at-bats in the same innings, Doug. I'll give you something to do for a minute. You were kind of bored over there. Got him.
It hit him on the foot, and now the bases are loaded for Gonzalez.
Now Terry Collins wants to argue this too. Now he can let out all the frustration he wants to.
He may also want to go bye-bye about now.
He's like, you know what? I don't need to ask. He's saying, why don't you go ask for some help and see? And Darling said, I don't need to. I saw it.
You know what? Terry wants to watch this from his office.
Yeah,
that's what this is about.
And Gary Darling told him, come on, Terry, let's go. I'm not changing it. I'm not asking. Let's go. See if I saw that.
Yeah, let's see if this angle shows if he, yeah, got his pant leg. Clearly got his pant leg. So now the bases are loaded for Little Pony. Who hit a Clydesdale of a home run his last time up. And he's going to have some more ribbies. Line drive, base hit to right. That'll score 2. That's your basic 5 RBI inning. And the ball gets away. Going to seconds, Gonzalez. Unbelievable. Johnny Herrera came all the way around. The Mets were caught napping. It is 13-6. Collins looking for anybody to argue with. "11 runs in the inning." We have seen some crazy innings here at Coors Field through the years. Yes. George, this is right near the top.
Oh, it has to be. I mean, line drive right field, everybody's running. Here comes Young, here comes Scudero.
And watch Johnny.
Johnny's going to come around here and look, and Richie's like, hey, on the back. Okay, go ahead. Why not? Another error. 3rd in the inning. 4th in the inning. Wow.
I'm almost speechless at what has transpired.
Yeah.
The Rockies came into the inning trailing 6-2. They've scored 11 here, and the Mets have gotten only 1 out. Carlos Gonzalez was credited, at least for the time being. No error, George, was given on that. He's credited with 3 RBIs on that. So he has 6 RBIs in the inning. Tulo at the plate with Cargo at second. Personally, I don't know about that 6th RBI, but right now it's up there.
Hey, it is, and I'm
now
with you. I'm not
they're
sure
changing it now.
Yeah. Oh, they are. Okay.
They're gonna charge an error to the first baseman Lutz on the throw to the plate. So it's a single, 2 RBIs, and an error allowing Herrera to score and Gonzalez to move to second. That's the right way to score that play. So Cargo has only 5 ribbies in the inning. If you're wondering, the Rockies' record for runs in an inning is 12. This will be the second out. They scored 12, and I'm sure many of you remember it because it didn't happen all that long ago. July 30th, 2010, in the 8th inning against the Cubs. That was also, I believe, the night where the Rockies had 12 consecutive hits, which is a major league record. Miguel Batista now facing help. Strike 1 on top. What's your scorebook look like?
You don't even want to know. Helton 10 for 34. These guys faced each other an awful lot. 294 average, 2 home runs against Bautista.
Two and two on help.
Tell you what, Bautista's still a very good arm, even at age 41, 94, 95. Really takes great care of himself in the offseason.
Todd pulls it sharply to first, and Lutz, who was playing on the line, saves another run. Mets haven't been in their dugout so long they changed the decorations. An 11-run 5th inning for the Rockies. They're up 13-6. 2-3. The Rockies put an 11 spot up in the 5th inning, second biggest inning in franchise history, to the 12 they scored in July of 2010 against the Cubs. Cargo and Fowler, 2 runs. Cargo just tied. Did I hear that right, Dougie? Did he tie a National League record with the 5 RBIs? That doesn't sound right in an inning. That can't be right. Is it a team record? Club record with the 5 RBIs. Josh Renicky with a 1-1 count on Tejada. The Rockies, Frazier, were up for 35 minutes.
It's like I said, it was like on the road batting practice where you got 40 to hit.
Yeah, that's pretty close.
It's crazy.
And
35 minutes.
And for 33 minutes, only 1 out was recorded.
Isn't that something? Yeah, and it could have got uglier. Helton's ball was scalded on the ground.
How about Manny Acosta's line? One third of an inning, 7 runs, 5 hits, 2 walks, 2 Ks. He's going to be digging the ERA out of that till August.
Yep, going to be a while.
That's a base hit for Tejada.
Well, 3 errors committed in the inning didn't help things. 4 errors, excuse me, committed in the inning.
Seventh appearance for Renicky.
Pitched well out of the bullpen, as he did in his late call up here.
Yeah, the most runs batted in an inning. Remember Fernando Tatis back in '99 hit 2 grand slams in an inning for the Cardinals. He eventually played for the Mets. The American League record is A-Rod. This ball's well hit to center field. And it's run down by Dexter Fowler. And Murphy's retired, 1 out.
Wowee, 13 runs, 12 hits, errors on the board, and a whole bunch of runs in 1 inning, 11. It was fun to watch.
Yeah, 7 hits in the inning, producing 11 runs.
With a couple of free passes, 4 errors. You let 17 men get on base. Nuts. Correct that, 15. Pretty nuts. How about that? Isn't that something? To see that many balls hit hard, that many bloops in, all those things happening. But the Mets had a little bit of that when they scored 4 in 1 inning.
Yeah, I mean, the Mets had 5 straight hits last inning, 6 overall. Schwinden's still shell-shocked. 2-1 on right. 12 hits for each side, but the Rockies lead it by 7. Now you have 2 on and 1 out. Ramon Hernandez is going to remind Josh Renicky of something he knows well, and that is we got a 7-run lead. If David Wright hits a 2-run homer, so be it.
Doesn't matter. But if you don't throw it over the plate, you can create a lot of problems for yourself.
Well, here's the hitting star for the Mets tonight, Scott Hairston. Single in the second, home run to tie it at 2 against Drew Pomerantz in the 4th, and then he tripled in a run in the 5th. So he is a double shy of producing a rare feat, and that is a cycle. Drew Pomerantz gone after 4 innings. He allowed 2 runs. He had forearm tightness. Off the plate, ball 1. Now it's 2-0. Bob Apodaca, the former Met and former Met pitching coach, will skip to the mound.
Well, Bob Apodaca was a Met at one time, and let me tell you, folks, guy threw hard, had a big hammer, had 13 saves in one season for their ball club. High leg kick.
Apodaca is also 27.
Against one Willie Stargell.
They wore the uniforms different then, didn't they?
A little bit. 2-0 on Hairston. Tejada at second, right at first, 1 out. That misses. It's 3-0. These games will age a manager in dog years. Sixth inning. Terry Collins has argued with everybody in the stadium except the usher on the first base line. He's had 2 lengthy discussions, in all seriousness, with Lance Barrett. Tried his hardest to get Gary Darling to throw him out last half inning.
Gary Darling said, you know what, if I'm sitting here and watching this, you're watching it too, so go sit down. I didn't miss it. We're tired of arguing. Go back. Everybody's waving to each other down the left field line right now, from the right field line.
This is lined to deep left field. It's over the head of Cargo. And you know what? This is going to be a cycle. Scott Hairston realizes it. The throw to the plate is errant. It's a 2-run double for Scott Hairston. He just entered the record book. Single, homer, triple, double. What else does this game have in store?
A lot of balls being thrown into that Met dugout, isn't it? And they're losing in the game 13-8.
Tenth in Mets history. It's the 4th time an opponent has produced a cycle against the Rockies.
Yeah, he hit it good.
Check it, the fifth time.
Well, he's got to be thinking. How many times was it? Okay, 10th, 5th. How many times?
Well, the media guy said 3, but it lists 4 guys, so we'd assume that that's 4. John Mayberry, Craig Biggio, we remember that one. Fred Lewis, remember that one. And Kung Fu Panda, Pablo Sandoval. So 2 Giants have done it.
Bob Apodaca's been out. Matt Reynolds is back up throwing again. He was throwing earlier in the ball game.
Lucas Duda at the plate. Jose Reyes the last to do it. No 6 for the Mets. Hairston's fired up. It's given the Mets new life again, though, George. I mean, the way this thing is going, and you're at Coors Field, and it's one of those nights.
Crazy night.
Yeah, they feel like, hey, we're right back in this.
Both ball clubs 4 hits with runners in scoring position. 4 for 11 for the Mets, 4 for 10 for the Rockies. Some people were in scoring position when they got in the on deck circle tonight.
Ground ball toward the middle of the diamond, and now it is a 4-run game. Lucas Duda drives in Scott Hairston. And with 1 out in the 6th inning, the Mets have scored 3 times. Somebody's going to have to start getting some outs on a consistent basis. That's what both managers are saying right now.
Jim Tracy's thinking, let me get to that 7th inning where I get the brothers, Belisle and Betancourt. Somebody get me some outs here.
Zach Lutz, last inning, got a base hit up the middle for his first career knock. 13-9. In the air to pretty deep right field. Kadire has a beat on it. 2 outs.
They're going to pinch hit here. Tully's going to come up and hit from the left side. It may move Tracy into making the move. Although if you're trying to conserve, but you're not. I mean, you know, you go get the left-hander. You waited for him to be announced. Now you go get the left-hander to come in because you got those other 3 guys to try to finish things up, and that's what Matt Reynolds is going to do. He's going to be asked to come on here and get this out.
New Mexico. Tell us why you're a fan and enter to win the ultimate fan experience, which will include travel for 2 to Denver. We'll take care of the accommodations, the tickets to the ball game. In fact, we'll sit in the Root Sports Suite, breakfast with the on-air talent, and many other prizes courtesy of Root Sports. Enter today by visiting RockyMountain.rootsports.com.
And you have your choice of bagel and yogurts with Mr. Goodman. And what's that thing you get? A mocha choca? What is it you buy at? What is that thing at Starbucks?
Skim decaf mocha with whip. That one. Or bacon, eggs, lots of bacon, lots of sausage, a couple of pancakes, whole wheat toast, a little home fries.
That's Sam's number 3.
With fresh.
That's right.
Curveballs down low on Josh Tolley.
One bugaboo a year ago for Matt Reynolds, left-handed hitters. This year, much different. 1 for 8, a 125 average so far for Reynolds. He's inherited 5 base runners. 2 have scored. There's a runner at first, and left-hander's going to get a base hit. This year, Tolley 5 for 11, 455 average versus left-handers. Make that 6 for 12. The average just went up. Trying to think, looking at their roster, Drew, who else do they have that could catch now, making that switch here in the 6th inning?
You got Jacob Turner pinch hitting now in the pitcher spot.
So, I mean, who else would they have if something would happen to Tolley?
Jacob Turner was one of the heroes yesterday. He had a 13-pitch 9th inning at bat against Heath Bell. Finally earned a walk with the bases loaded. That forced in the tying run. And then the guy on deck, Kirk Neuenhuis, would line goes in the book as a single, but he lined a one-hopper off the right field wall to win it. Oh, 0-2 on Turner. Turner out of Cal State Fullerton. Great program. In fact, he was on that 2004 NCAA championship team. Two and two. This is a night you just try to survive if you're out there on the bump.
This is a Jim Leland night. When he managed here, he said, I didn't manage till the 7th because of the scores, and then I started working my bullpen. Tonight's one of those nights. Jim Tracy will be on the plus side, hopefully, and be able to work his bullpen the way he wants, 7, 8, and 9.
Ground ball to third. Herrera goes to Scudero. And finally the inning's over. The last full inning of play has taken close to an hour. Mets get 3, 13-9. Time now for the Coors Light Freeze Cam. That's a swing we always like to freeze. Cargo, last inning, hit a 3-run homer. That thing went, we haven't gotten a distance on that yet. That thing went about a mile. And then he had a 2-run single later on in the inning. That's brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
Well, the Mets turn the page and go to their fourth starter, or fourth pitcher, I should say. Ramon Ramirez, the right-hander, comes in. Rocky's familiar last couple of years with San Francisco.
Yeah, well,
pitched in 91 ball games.
I got a trivia question for you, George.
Yeah.
I'm going to test that memory of yours.
Okay.
Ramon Ramirez came to the Rockies organization from what team and for whom?
Came from the Yankees.
That's correct. Here's Kadire.
Oh, boy.
No, it was not for him.
It wasn't for Oh Boy?
It was not for Oh Boy.
Sean Chacon went over to the Yankees. And they also picked up Eduardo Sierra.
You cheated. You got the media guy.
I'm reading it right in front of me. Pitched in 91 ball games, 83 games for the Rockies. Had a combined record 6-5. They went on to Kansas City, 71 games. Boston, 70 games 1 year. Then over to Boston, 2010. He had 44 ball games. Traded over to San Francisco, where he was just brilliant. 25 games, 27 innings, 13 hits, 0.67 ERA.
He's carved out a really nice career as a setup guy. Here's the 1-2. And Kadire broken back, bloop to center, and a base hit. Michael always running hard, headed to second, and he's in trouble. So Kadire will get credit for a single. And I believe we got to check the replay. Was that Duda who picked up the
yes,
baseball?
He did. Duda
so
picked the ball up, fired it into Tejada.
Yeah,
so
9-6 on that putout.
Off the end of the bat in a pitcher's count. Neuenhuis with a huge hustle effort trying to get to the baseball. It drops. Excuse me. It was the second baseman that picked up the baseball and fired that ball in. Daniel Murphy made the play.
Yeah, good hustle by Murphy. Ramon Hernandez 0 for 3. He has scored a run. Only one guy in the Rockies lineup who has not scored of the regulars. That's Helt. Todd has 2 hits though, single and a triple. Also a line out. Just hasn't scored a run. Mets have 9 runs on 15 hits. They've committed 4 errors. The Rockies have 13 runs on 13 hits. They have 1 error.
There's a ball game going on in Fresno tonight where the Rockies AAA affiliate is taking on the Giants AAA affiliate. McBride's got a couple of hits tonight. Chad Tracy 1 for 2 with an RBI. A home run by Harris in the 3rd. Tommy Field hit a home run, his 2nd in the 3rd. And they're winning in that ball game after 4 innings, 5-0. Tyler Chatwood in the ball game. 4 innings, 2 hits, a walk, and 5 strikeouts. No runs allowed so far.
Oh, good.
Good outing for Tyler.
Nice round of applause for 24 as he comes up. Dexter Fowler in his last at bat reached the seats again. 3rd time this year. All that weight room work with Giambi and Tulowitzki and Las Vegas paying off for Cargo. Hits haven't come as frequently as he would like so far in April, but he's hit some big ones, hasn't he?
Yes, he has. This one with a little bit of the bat toss. To cap off a big inning where the Rockies put 11 on the board.
Cargo, who's in the hole right now, has tied his career high with 6 RBIs. 2-0, and Dex swings and misses, 2-1.
Through 4 innings for Chatwood, 70 pitches, 47 strikes. That's a good thing to see. 4 ground ball outs to go along with the 5 strikeouts.
That ball game's on the road, George, but the humidor has made a big difference. Base hit up the middle for Dexter. there are so many more normal scores.
Yeah, 3-2, 4-3, 5-3 type ball games, so you don't see the inflated averages anymore for that Colorado Springs ball club. I mean, it's great to go down there and hit. Pacheco, by the way, is just tearing a cover off the ball down there, hitting 459. But McBride's the other guy that's really tearing it up. 397 average after that 2-for-2 night. He came over to trade for Ubaldo Menace. It was a catcher that hurt his arm, went to the outfield. He's back catching again. He's catching in the ball game tonight.
Yeah, McBride has really had an unbelievable offensive April. You said Pacheco's at 459. He must have done some damage tonight because he was 450 coming into the night.
I was off by 9 points.
Dexter takes off, and it's fouled off by Matt Reynolds. Time for today's CenturyLink high-speed pitch. Fast speed and a low monthly price. Visit CenturyLink.com. Miguel Batista, 95. Esmil Rogers, 96. Again, Drew Pomeranz went 4 innings, allowed 2 runs, 1 earned. Had to depart with forearm tightness. Would relievers cherish these opportunities, or maybe they don't, because they don't get many. Some would prefer not to get any at all. Looks like Reynolds, though, is kind of enjoying it. He had a good hack. His first pitch, Dexter takes off, slap foul.
And you might be wondering at home, pitcher up. Well, guess what? He's going to get pinch hit. He's not going to be pitching the 8th inning. So if Dexter does get thrown out, you're going to go to your bench to lead off the next inning anyway.
4th plate appearance for Matt. 0 for 2 and a walk. He has scored a run.
The Rockies this year 15 of 19, 79% in stolen bases.
You got the igniter, Eric Young. Stole a base earlier in the game, started that 11-run rally. He's 4 for 4.
By the way, you're right. Pacheco's 450. He's played in 10 games, 2 home runs, 4 RBIs. He has an on-base percentage of .500 and a slugging percentage of .625 in the 9 games played so far.
Is that what you're looking for?
Yep, that's not bad, huh? He even caught the other night too. He's playing third mostly, but has caught 1 or 2 ball games.
And Reynolds goes down swinging. In the inning, a couple of hits. Dexter is left at first base. We go to the 7th, 13-9 Colorado.
Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Hyundai. Before new Hyundai owners even stepped off the lot, we asked them to tell us about the cars they just bought. You said it, we heard it in the booth. By Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo customers get your 2-for-1 Rockies tickets today by going to wellsfargo.com/Rockies. Wells Fargo Bank, member FDIC. And by Paul's TV, the king of big screen since 1964 in the Furniture Row Shopping Center inside Sofa Mart.
They're in a hurry to get this one going. 13-9. They're already. By the way, I always during the game what's that called? Social media, where they send you texts and do things. Well, Craig Rodriguez, who used to be with the Rockies, signed with Matt Reynolds, but played against Matt Reynolds at the junior college level. Just texted me a minute ago, and he said, back in the day, well, everybody could swing it back in the day. Got to give him a little hard time, but he played first base and really could swing the bat in junior college. Matt Reynolds could. So maybe that's why he had that nice healthy hack we saw early in the at bat.
Yeah, pretty good rip.
Yeah, not
on
bad,
the first delivery. You will find, as you gloss over resumes of guys that are pitchers in the big leagues, most of them were the best athlete on the team growing up, and hit the third or fourth spot.
A lot of them played shortstop when they didn't pitch.
A lot of them were great college hitters also. See that all the time. And there's a few that become position players that were pitchers in college. Todd Helton swung on and missed, so Matt Reynolds strikes out Kirk Neuenhuis for the first out in the 7th inning. Ruben Tejada quietly has had a big night for the Mets. He's 3 for 4, 3 singles. If you're just joining us, it was 2-1 Colorado at the end of 1. And then a couple zeros put up on both ends. Mets got a Scott Hairston home run in the 4th to tie it at 2. Rockies did not score in the bottom of the 4th. Mets erupted for 4 runs with 2 outs against Esmil Rogers in the 5th. 6-2 going to the bottom of the 5th. Eric Young Jr. pinch hitting, hit a comebacker. Busted it up the line. He forced an error on the pitcher. Head first slide. He's called safe. And then you would not believe what happened. An avalanche happened. The Rockies scored 11 runs.
Have you ever found this leak in your house and you're messing with the drywall and you go, well, let me just cut this little bitty spot out, and then the wall comes in on you full of water?
That approximates what happened in the 5th inning.
Yeah, kind of what happened in the bottom of the 5th.
The Mets were out in the field for 35 minutes.
I wonder when the last time the Mets scored 8 runs in 3 innings and fell behind.
Really?
Uh-huh.
I mean, it was 13-6. Mets got 3 last inning. 1 out. Here's the 2-2 on Tejada.
First 10,000 fans next Tuesday when the Dodgers are in town. You're going to receive a $1 hot dog coupon sponsored by Hebrew National Dollar. It's going to be fun. Hebrew National Hot Dog, the day at the yard. Get your tickets now. A lot of stuff going on when you got the Dodgers coming to town. You got the Coca-Cola value packs. You got the hot dog giveaways.
And the 3-2's wasted. $35,103.
And they're happy.
Better believe they're happy. Team's up by 4 runs. That's a 4-hit night for Tejada.
Came into the ball game average sitting at 239. It's at 278 now.
This kid's got a tough assignment, George. He's 22, and he's replacing probably the greatest shortstop in Mets history. I don't think there's any question.
Well,
Buddy Howes has played a long time, but
hey,
Jose Reyes.
Maybe his childhood hero, too.
I'm sure.
You
Yeah,
know?
that's a great point.
2 Latin American players. I want to be just like this guy. I want to be like Reyes. Well, guess what? You're going to get your chance. You're going to get to be just like him.
Yeah, you're going to play his spot. And everybody we talked to associated with the Mets organization said he's done just fine. 2-strike count on Murphy. Tejada's out of Panama. Just off the plate. Scudero's going to get it, and it's a pretty good play to get the force out at second.
Really good play. Difficult play.
Very agile play by Marco Scudero, the 36-year-old second baseman.
Well, part of that is he has a shortstop arm playing second. Last couple of years, a shortstop with the Boston Red Sox plants that right foot a little bit falling backward, but yet a snap throw to Tulowitzki. Footwork is all the biggest part of that play happening and being completed.
With 2 outs, Matt Reynolds going to give way to another bat. Here comes Matt Belisle.
The 7th inning, and a new pitcher, Matt Belisle, in. I've got a pitching question for you guys. This is from Facebook, and it's from Judy Weinstein-Fryman, and this is for you, George. She wondered, we just saw Matt Reynolds hit, do pitchers ever strike out intentionally to avoid hitting into a double play if that's the situation?
Well, yeah. Yes,
yeah,
they do.
That's the easy answer, right?
Well, you get kind of told to go do that sometimes. In the inning, don't want a double play. I want my guy leading off the next inning. I want to have, you know, Scudero lead off the next inning. I don't want you going up there trying to lay a bunt down for a base hit or doing something foolish. You know, we got to do this without making pitching changes, and yeah, they told him to do that.
I know that it may have been a couple of years ago. Jim Tracy told the pitcher, "Do whatever, do not swing.
Do not swing." Well, I'll tell you this much: I in my own career, playing for the Chicago Cubs, I got the steal sign from Don Zimmer, and I was like, "Really?" They wanted me to get thrown out, so leadoff man can start the next inning. I got thrown out.
You want to know what? That's not true, because I talked to Zim about this.
Yeah, he's lying.
He was upset with the tip you gave him on a horse race earlier in the day.
That might be true. I did the Willie Stargell thing. I got halfway to second, called timeout.
I could see you doing that.
I did. All right, Belisle, this base hit here to David Wright. Yeah, he's got superhuman hitters. Scott Harrison up.
Scott's a platoon player tonight. Single, home run, triple, double. You heard me correctly. 10th cycle in Mets history. Which always takes us to the question. Here's a bonus trivia question for you at home. In the history of baseball, more cycles or more no-hitters? Which do you think?
Cycles.
Scott Hairston in the second inning with a base hit. Scott Hairston tied the game against Drew Pomerantz with a line drive home run. Here's the triple off the center field wall. And then his very next time up, double to deep left field. And by the way, he's driven in 4. 1-1 count. Maybe this thing is gone, man. It is imperative, or close to imperative, that Matt Belisle find a way to get Hairston 2 on in a 4-run game. 7th inning for the Mets.
Good fastball, 87-mile-an-hour slider that he threw on the first pitch for a strike. Then came back with that 92-mile-an-hour fastball he threw by him, but in a very good location. Wind has changed directions. It's blowing out to left now. You know, we watched these flags early in the ball game, and they were just like flying straight in. Kind of a swirling effect. Now you can see they're blowing out to left field. Things changing around here.
Got him on a breaking ball. Well done by Matt Belisle. He finally is able to do something nobody else has been able to do tonight, and that's get Scott Hairston. 13-9 stretch time at Coors Field. Cooney lets us look back. Frazier, needs some help. Let me run out of breath.
Let me get the oxygen. Dougie, get the tank.
All right, here's what happened in the 5th inning. The Rockies got a lot of hits. They got some home runs. 3-run home run. Cargo, 3-run home run. Dexter Fowler. Cargo with the bases loaded. 2-run single. 5 ribbies in the inning for Gonzalez. 4 errors for the Mets. Johnny scores. Your basic 11-run 5th inning. How's that? Brought to you by Cooney Lexus, where luxury has an address. Bottom of the 7th, top of the order, Marco Scutaro has had a nice ball game. Triple, walk, and a single. So 2 for 3.
Yeah, these two guys teammates in Boston. Scutaro and Ramirez. Ramon's done a very, very nice job. Pitched well for the Rockies for a couple of years, and then went on over to Kansas City, where he pitched in 71 ball games, had a save there. Never really been a closer, but has worked in the bullpen. As most of his career started a little bit back when he was in the younger days.
You know what he's got? He's got what you had, George. He's got a rubber arm.
Rubber arm, those strikes.
He pitched 2 innings yesterday, got the win. 2 clean innings, 8th and 9th. Mets came from a run down to get another walk-off win, and this is going to be another hit for Scutaro. Remember we said, Jeff and I were talking about this on the road trip. Scudero puts the ball in play nearly every at bat. He only struck out 3 times this year. So you knew the hits were going to start falling.
Eventually they would turn his way.
They'll bring up Johnny Herrera.
And then you got Gonzalez with a guy on, and everybody's going to scramble to the record books again. Dougie's already digging.
And Cargo on deck. He's already driven in 6 in the game. That matches his career high. Cargo has 15 RBIs to lead the club. He's driven in runs in only 4 games. He has 2 4 RBI games.
I'm not
Tonight
laughing.
he's got a 6 RBI game.
It's just silly what he's done, or what he can do.
The Rockies said this before. They have 3 or 4 guys that can say, "Hey, jump on my back. I'm going to carry everybody for 5-6 days."
The middle of this lineup is doing exactly what Jim Tracy anticipated through the year in tonight's ball game. I mean, you know, Scudero's 3 for 4 right now. Gonzalez 3 for 4. Tulowitzki 2 for 4. Helton 2 for 4. Kadire 3 for 4. I mean, excuse me, 1 for 3. Dexter Fowler 2 for 4. The middle of that lineup, the core of it, we're talking about Gonzalez, Tulowitzki, Helton, Kadire. You know, very good nights.
Yeah, that's a busy box score. Runner going. It's a hit and run, and that's a great job by Johnny Herrera. Twofold. He got the catcher's glove. It's catcher's interference. He was trying to protect Scudero. That is just another little reason why Jim Tracy absolutely adores Johnny Herrera. He's such a smart player.
He's
pitch
lucky.
out, and he's still going to go get it, and he contacts the catcher's glove.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, all he's trying to do is put some contact on it, and he steps all the way across and makes this line. But you know what? He didn't get across the plate with his feet. It's the swing. So I mean, it's just outstanding here by Johnny. Look how far out he's got to go get this thing. You haven't seen too many catcher interference getting a glove hit on a pitch out.
No.
Normally it's chest high and away, you know,
it's
farther out to the left.
Some guys will just give up on it, even though it's a hit and run and you're required to swing. So here's Cargo, chance to do even more damage. Called the strike. That's just the 9th time that a Rocky has reached on catcher's interference, and it's the first time since Luis Gonzalez reached against the Giants in 2005 on catcher's interference. Big swing there from Cargo, 2 strikes. Of the guys to do it 9 times now, Helton's done it 3 times. Oh, 0-2. And Cargo goes down swinging. 1 out, and that'll bring up Tulowitzki. I asked Troy George at the clubhouse this afternoon. I said, what's tougher? First game out on the road after being at home for a while, body-wise, mentally, or the first game back at home after being on the road? And he said physically it's that first game back at Coors Field. This ball's popped up, foul ground. And the catch is made by Lutz. He said even though you may have only been gone for a week, so you feel like, man, you're having trouble catching your breath again at altitude, just a little bit lethargic. The Rockies haven't swung the bat with any lethargy tonight. 13 runs, 15 hits. So do you have the answer yet, George, on cycles, no-nos all time?
I'm going to say cycles.
That there's more cycles?
Yes.
You're right. 294th cycle by Scott Hairston tonight. 272 no-hitters. It's very close.
Wow.
Todd drives one to left center field. It'll drop. And Marco Scutaro scores the Rockies' 14th run. Helton's 11th RBI of the year. 3-hit night for Todd.
Todd came into this ball game. His average was not anywhere near what he wanted it to be at 222. At that 3-hit night, it's at 254 now, starting to make that familiar climb as it goes.
Should be of no surprise that Todd Helton's doing damage against the Mets. He owns the 5th highest average ever against the Mets. Big names on there: Jeter, Rico Carty, Hall of Famer Tony Gwynn.
Drew, you know there's 4 errors or 5 errors in this game tonight, right?
Well, because
6.
the catcher's interference counts as an error.
6, right?
You're
6 errors in a game. It's a lot of errors for a major league game, right? You would think.
Well, absolutely.
What's the most errors in a game
Combined?
ever
Both
with
teams?
2 teams? Ever
Now,
in the
does this
history of the
include
game?
the 1800s?
1876.
Oh, okay. 26.
40.
Bad game.
Bad game. Okay, and since the 1900s, 18 in the American League in 1903, 15 in 1902, St. Louis and Pittsburgh,
You know what? Since
and 15 in 1904 with Boston and Chicago.
Kadire draws a walk, that's going to load the bases. Terry Collins is going to come out, and he's going to make a double switch. You know what I'd like to know? What's the most errors in a game in the last, say, 30, 40 years, where the fields are manicured, there's full-time grounds crews, that
Dougie,
sort of thing?
Give it to me.
Mike Baxter's coming in the ball game, the double switch. We'll sort it all out for you in a moment. The Rockies have another run here at the bottom of the 7th, courtesy of Todd Helton. They're up 14 tonight. Fans, if you'd like to receive text message alerts when the Rockies score 7 or more, as they've done tonight for the Rockies Taco Special, text the keyword taco to 720-720. Message and data rates may apply. Feed your Rockies fever only at Taco Bell, and do it tomorrow between 4 and 6. Bases loaded. Ramon Hernandez at the plate. Second time he's hit with the bases juiced in the game. He has 6 career slams, and the hard-throwing Bobby Parnell's on the hill. Bobby's throwing some more two-seamers now, George, than he used to. He used to be just an upper 90s guy.
And you know what? They sent him back to the minor leagues at the end of the year last year to work on that two-seam, work on a better command of a breaking ball, and he shows two-seam and then a curveball at 79. But this guy was an upper 90s guy that just threw really, really hard.
Herrera at third, Helton at second, Kadire at first. This ball's well hit to right. Way back and gone. Grand slam. Ramon Hernandez.
The Rockies were 1 for 12 prior to that at bat with the bases loaded. And he was 0 for 2. You can make that 1 for 3 now on a deep fly to right field.
18-9 on Ramon Hernandez's 7th career slam. He was pretty sure he got it. Well, the Rockies now have a 17-run game this year at home and an 18-run game at home, and we're not out of April.
Wait till it heats up.
Yeah. Right? The amazing thing is the Rockies are up 18-9, folks, and the hits are all even. 17 apiece.
And that's something.
Not a fun night to be a pitcher at old 20th and Blake.
No, it's really not. I mean, here he is on a 1-1 count, and then you can see on the Mike Shaw Subaru slow-mo. Boy, I mean, this pitch, you talk about using some lower body leverage and just cranking this thing to right field. It just kept carrying. And that's not the way the wind's blowing out now.
Dexter's going to reach. Ball bounces into the camera well. He'll go to second. A base hit and the 6th error on the Mets in this game. Terry Collins cannot wait for this thing to end.
This is one of those balls that are hit, just eat it. You got a lot of speed at the plate. Daniel Murphy tried to make a valiant effort to make the throw over there, but it's a difficult throw. And he's going to pick up the error. 3 on the year now.
Belisle's going to get an AB.
This country kid can swing it a little bit. Starting pitcher for most of his career.
Good
got the
athlete.
glove on, got double gloves on, got the R161 with a thick handle.
Got a ribby at second. 1-1 the count.
Trust me, he's thinking about contact.
Dexter hops over it, made it a little more difficult for Tejada. In the inning, 5 more runs for the Rockies, highlighted by the grand slam from Ramon Hernandez's 7th career. Salami, 18-9.
Keys may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Colorado Rockies. More than 35,000 in the house, and they have witnessed one of those Coors Field specials. Fortunately, the Rockies have been more special offensively than the Mets. Not often that you can say you got 9 runs on 17 hits and you're losing by 9. That's the case for New York. The Rockies 18 runs, 18 hits, and that was not a misprint in that far right-hand column. The Mets have made 6 errors in the ball game. And Doug did look up, George, since divisional play began in 1969, because you were mentioning all those errors back in the 1800s
and 40
and the turn of the 20th century, you know, before the fields were probably well manicured, etc. The most by one team since divisional play. The Royals made 8 in a ball game in '74. Duda's going to get thrown out by Scudero. The Cardinals made 8 in the ball game in '72. The Braves, I remember this game because I believe it was the day Mark DeRosa made 3 at third base.
In one inning.
It may have been, George.
It was one inning.
Was it? Bobby Cox, you know, pulled him out of the game just to get his head right. That was in '04, and that was on the way to 7 errors for the Braves that day. And now the Mets are sitting on 6, and they have to go play defense one more inning at least. That better be it. Better not be 2 more innings. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, that can't happen.
And then Jim Tracy may jump off the top step of the stadium. Zach Lutz 1 for 4, and this is a day he will never forget. Got his first big league hit tonight.
Hey, the first 20,000 fans on Sunday, they're going to receive a drawstring bag courtesy of the MLB Network. So get your tickets today for that game against the New York Mets on Sunday.
Got him on a slider.
Well, even though it's 18-9, you don't go out and just throw fastballs, because I've seen that doesn't work so far in the ball game. Pitch your game, 1-0 game. You're trying to close this thing out and get it over with, and allow yourself to do that. And that's what Belisle does here and gets a strikeout. Pitch very effectively. Second one he's recorded since coming into the ball game.
On the outside edge, a strike to Josh Thole. Pinch hit 2 innings ago and had a base hit, so he has reached in every game he's played this year for the Mets. All 18 games. The longest Mets streak to start a season. It's the longest streak since Carlos Beltran a couple years ago reached in the first 25 game. It's the longest stretch ever for a Mets catcher. You say he's improved his throwing.
But you know what? There's never going to be another Gary Carter.
No. What a tragedy. The kid passing away a short while ago. Way too young. Rockies up 18-9.
Time for the Excel Energy High Efficiency Inning. Learn about energy efficiency and how to save money in your home by visiting ResponsibleByNature.com. There haven't been many real efficient innings in this game, but Matt Belisle just twirled one. Nice play by Tulowitzki to get Tolle. A 1-2-3 inning for Matt Belisle in the 8th. Bottom of the 8th inning, Bobby Parnell still out there. And it's the 6th at bat for Marco Scutaro. Triple, ground out, walk, single, single. He has scored 4 runs tonight. In fact, the top 2 in the order have scored 7 runs this evening. Johnny Herrera's next. It's going to be a 4-hit ball game for Marco Scutaro. From Marco Scutaro, we go to Marco Stout.
One more social media question from the night. It's Fan Friday, and Ben Gehrig on Facebook asked this question, guys. He said that number 17, Todd Helton, inspires him. What do you guys think inspires Todd Helton when he plays this game?
That's a great question. He's a guy that first and foremost has always loved the game, and I think that started when he was very, very young. He's a phenomenal competitor. And I think for all these guys, George, when you strip it down, yeah, especially in Todd's case, he's made a phenomenal amount of money. But it's all about playing the game. It's about playing the game.
I think for Todd Helton, too, this is something maybe people can relate to. And Todd said this to me one time about 7-8 years ago, and it stuck with me. And I've had other players tell me this, Dave Winfield, I've had Kirby Puckett, other players I played with that said, you know, the guy that works hard every night at his job, every day, brings his family of 4 to the park. I need to put on the best show I can possibly put on and be in the lineup as much as I can possibly be in that lineup. He feels like he owes that to the fans. And I think what really motivates Todd more than anything is the fear of going 0 for 4. He can't stand it. Drives him crazy when he doesn't hit pitches he thinks he should hit or hanging breaking balls. And that fear of not having that success is a big motivator for Todd Helton.
Johnny with a slowly hit ground ball to short. He'll get the force on Scutaro. Rockies hit around in the 5th. They hit around again in the 7th. 15 came to bat in the 5th, in which the Rockies scored 11 times. 9 came to bat last inning. It's the 25th time the Rocks have hit around twice in a game. It's the first time, though, since August of 2000. Terry Collins will make another move here with Carlos Gonzalez coming up. Tim Burdack will come in. 18-9 Rockies. Well, baseball lost one of the great catchers of all time, one of the great ambassadors to the game earlier this year when Gary Carter passed due to brain cancer. forever known as the Kid, and part of the '86 World Championship with the New York Mets. Jesse Orosco, Gary Carter celebrating bottom of the dog pile when the Mets beat the Boston Red Sox and come from behind fashion. Of course, Gary passed away much too young earlier this year. 19 big league seasons, 324 home runs, 1,200 plus ribbies, 11-time All-Star, great defensive catcher as well. He went into the Hall of Fame in 2003, and the Mets have home plate, the Kid, number 8 on their jersey sleeves.
One of those guys I'd love to compete against, and I would imagine, I've never had the opportunity, I would love to have had him as a teammate. Tim Burdick comes into the ballgame. Started his career in '94, Drew. He's got 6 years in the big leagues. How about that?
Perseverance.
Yeah, in 4 years, though, he made it extremely quickly to the big leagues. He went right to Kansas City in 1998 after signing in '94. Pitched in 3 games, battled up and down, and pitched in 33 games. Not very successful in '99. From Kansas City, he went to Buffalo, Kingston, Akron, Joliet, Gary, Portland, Ottawa, back to Baltimore for 41 games in '05. Thinking things are pretty good. Had an injury situation. Went back to Aberdeen, Friedrich, Bowie, Baltimore, Toledo, Detroit, Round Rock, Houston, Round Rock, Houston, New York City.
Do me a favor, silently count up how many different places he's played baseball.
A lot.
That's wild. He's got him 1 and 2. He's not done yet, folks, counting.
23. Different cities since 1994. And a couple of them more than once. Big league cities and minor league cities.
Cargo got under this one a smidgen.
And Drew means a smidgen.
Two gone, and that'll bring up Tulowitzki. You forget the way this game is unfolded that Troy hit a home run way back in the first inning. Rockies have hit 4 tonight, a season high. Runs, 19 hits.
This may be one of those at bats with a bunch of soft stuff, sliders, curveballs, and changeups. Not that you would want to face Todd Helton, but it's left on left. That's the only thing I can come up with. Just doesn't want to give Tulowitzki a fastball to hit. Helton's 0 for 2 in his career. Tulowitzki hasn't faced him.
And Troy hits it hard, but right at the shortstop. Guess what? We're going to go to the 9th inning. Rockies up 18-9.
Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. By Jack in the Box. Right now at Jack in the Box, you can try the new Chipotle chicken sandwich for $4.99 plus tax. And by the Ford F-Series. Built stronger, built better, built Ford tough. Rockies scored 19 runs on the recent 6-game road trip. They have 18 tonight. Jenny Cavnar, I'd say that's pretty good.
I was going to say, Drew, if you like offense, tonight was absolutely your kind of night. Coming up on the Toyota postgame show, we'll tell you why Cargo had 5 on it. Number 5 in the 5th inning with 5 RBIs. I'd say that's a productive inning for him. And his teammate was Dex on the spot. Dexter Fowler with a 3-run shot of his own. And to think he gave you free T-shirts before the game. What a nice guy. We'll break down all those runs for you. Plus, we'll have an injury update on tonight's starter, Drew Pomeranz, who left after 4 innings. Stick with us later on the Toyota postgame show. Drew?
All right, Jenny, we'll look forward to that. Don't forget, Toyota Talk will continue during the entire postgame show with Jenny and the gang, so keep texting in your comments. Rex Brothers looking for 3 more outs. Matt Belisle went an inning and a third. Allowed 1 hit, struck out 1, nothing else across. Rex had a better outing on Wednesday. Had a couple of rough outings where he was spraying the fastball, George, but had better command on Wednesday when he came in.
Well, and I think that's something, you know, as a young kid, going to have some bumps in roads. The expectation's very high, particularly when you start out so good. The way he was throwing a baseball, still possesses that great fastball. Range at 93, 97 miles an hour on a good day.
2-1 count on Mike Baxter. First at bat for Baxter. He came in a double switch in the 7th inning. This is tied the 18 runs for the 8th most in club history. It's the 5th time the Rockies have scored 18 in a game. They've scored 19 4 times. They've scored 23 times. 2-2. Deep breath, fastball, and that one's fought off again as well. Man.
Have you crossed out a lot of names in your book tonight? As they've made tremendous amounts of changes throughout this game.
He's got it. 96-mile-an-hour fastball in the black. That's no fun left on left.
No, no fun at all, knowing that he has that nasty slider to go along with that fastball.
Kirk Neuenhuis is coming up. Yeah, he's up for the 6th time in the game, and his team's down by 9 runs. Crazy night. Single, a walk, fly ball left field, and a couple of punch outs for the product out of Denver Christian.
Well, a lot of his friends came to the game tonight, wanted to make sure they got to see him play. They're getting to see him play. They're getting to see him swing the bat. And there may be a few texts with the length of this game and the score of the game, with the Rockies leading 18-9 when he gets into the locker room and turns on his cell phone. There might be a few texts that says, "We'll see you tomorrow." Had to leave early. Work. Kids got game in the morning. Yeah.
Speaking of that.
Yes.
I'm wondering if my dad's going to make it up here tonight, or if he said,
home.
You know what, it's a little too chilly to.
He went to the house.
This game's creeping up, George, on 4 hours. You know that?
No. Wasn't paying attention. When you're having fun like this, and if you're on the other side of this thing, it's a long night. When you're on this side of it, it's kind of a happy night.
Something tells me Terry Collins is going to be a little grumpy tonight.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, he's not going to be happy.
3-0 right now on Neuenhuis. On the inside corner. ground to second. Marco Scutaro. 2 outs. Well, it's going to be a fun Toyota postgame show. Jenny and Huey and the Cowboy, Mark Stout, they're going to have a whole lot to talk about. Ruben Tejada, 4 singles and 5 at bats tonight. Second 4-hit ball game this year already for Ruben.
If you're hitting the road, subscribe to MLB.tv to see your Rockies out-of-market game online and on your favorite devices in HD quality when you're not at home.
That's going to fall out of play. One and two. Two and two. That's only 3. Three and 2 on Ruben Tejada. Rockies came into the ball game 9 and 9. The Mets came in at 11 and 8. First of 3, and here's another 3-2. Strike 3, ball game over. Tejada didn't like it, doesn't have the energy to argue that much. Rockies win it 18-9. Matt Reynolds gets the victory. He's 3-0. Manny Acosta takes the loss. He is 0-1. Wild night at 20th and Blake. Come from behind win because the Rockies were down 6-2.
Yeah, how about that, huh?
Cargo, pretty good evening. Pretty good 5th inning when he drove in 5. Tonight's delivery of the game brought to you by Jimmy John's, America's favorite sandwich delivery guys. Visit jimmyjohns.com to find a location near you. Cargo hit a 3-run home run in the 5th inning. That thing went forever. And then with the bases loaded, he lined a single to right to drive in a pair of runs. Big night for Carlos Gonzalez, 6 RBIs overall. Huge night for the Rockies offensively. Toyota postgame show, plenty to do there. It's coming up next. Enjoy it.